and welcome back to Lobau Spark. I know I'm not Lobau, but I am one of his friends, and that's what we're going to talk about today. I say talk about, we're going to be going over, I'm going to be introducing some of our favourite podcast episodes that have been to do with friendship. This is a big thing for Lobau, as I'm sure his regular viewers will know, anybody that's been over to my podcast as well, and many others. It's a big underpinning for Lobau is friendship. It's something that is so important the entire year round, and there have been moments recently and in the past, and I'm sure there will be in the future, where friendship will always come forward and will show just what a little bit of human connection can mean. Lobau himself is incredibly busy at the moment, but even recently he met someone in a bar, a bartender that was looking for a little bit of human connection, had only just come into the country recently, and Lobau and the entire community showed that to him. And he was incredibly grateful, and that's something that Lobau wants to build on and push out to the entire world. So it only seemed appropriate, whilst Lobau is busy, to introduce this compilation of some of our favorite friendship episodes.
So, welcome to season 11 of Lobau Spark Podcast, which is going to be the most sporadic, the most ADHD, the most neurodivergent thing you have ever fucking seen in your life. Because I am alternating one friend from birth and one new guest. I consider RJ a friend from birth because you just have this way about you, man. So every person that I know personally is going to be a 5-day, 10 minutes a day podcast. It's going to be one episode. We're going to talk every single day because I am at this point almost convinced that friendship is the closest thing we have to a cure for mental health disorders. RJ Zimmerman from Untapped Keg. How the fuck are you, man?
You know what? I'm good. However, today you're getting the unshowered since Friday, today's Sunday. RJ, hasn't shaved his head in 3 days. Just changed my underwear for the first time in 3 days, 10 minutes ago.
Nice. That's excellent. It's the reason I think starting these on a Sunday or Monday is I do believe that people with ADHD are lower on Sundays or Mondays or any days around that because it's Friday, you get off work from your normal job. I get to work on what I want to work on. Saturday, I get to work on what I want to work on. Sunday, fuck. Tomorrow, I can't work on what I want to work on, so I'm fucked today. You know, and like... Is that any?
Yeah.
Does that relate in any way? Because that's how I feel, at least.
Yep. For me, it was, Friday. Okay, this is awesome. This is gonna be great. Right. I get to plan what I'm gonna do tomorrow, and then Saturday after 5 p.m. is shit. I'm over halfway done with my weekend. What did I get done? What do I still have to do? Yeah. Sunday, you wake up and it's like, okay. I have to go back to work tomorrow. Can I even get anything done today? No, I have stuff I have to get done around the house. Might as well get that done. And you end up not getting all of that done either. So
it's a spiral. It's a spiral. It's like when everyone else kicks off their week with the Monday blues or whatever, where it's like, oh, I wish I didn't have to go to work today. Well, their Sunday was different than ours, I think. Their Sunday was they can just completely relax and then wake up on Monday, have those blues or whatever. If we know that we're going to have those blues on Monday, we can't do fucking shit on Sunday. So Saturday is really the pinnacle, I think, of when we operate the best. But again, this is just a check-in. The entire point of this is to say to someone that you love, how are you? That's it. Yeah. And we're going to do this every day for 10 minutes a day.
And that is something that is beautiful because you get to see the ups and downs, even though I haven't showered in 2 days. And I honestly just realized that I didn't change my underwear for 2 days. I totally forgot. changed my pants, changed my shirt,
Yeah.
didn't change my underwear. Why didn't I change my underwear? I don't know.
Well, maybe because you haven't showered, so you didn't take your underwear off.
I mean, yes,
that
is why. That is why.
So it's like I need a new pair of clothes, so here we go. But no,
like I'm good though. Like it's not like
Yeah.
I'm doing this because I'm laying around doing nothing. Although today, my kids and I really did not do anything. We stayed in our PJs all day and played around the house and
oh, that's awesome.
watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It was
Awesome.
It was a fun day, but we didn't do anything, which is okay. You need those days. It's a rest day.
You know what's amazing is the first person to try this 5 days in a row was Leo, and it was literally the same thing. Literally, like that's my whole thing. It's like, well, I took my kids to the fair and we did nothing, and it was awesome.
Yeah.
So of course I'm going to bang this into the ground and beat a dead horse over it because I truly believe that I love you, RJ. I want to know how you're doing, so I fucking check in with you. Like,
yeah,
why is this a hard concept? Like for people, like I don't understand how it is so difficult to care.
I think it's not the caring that's difficult. It's the understanding that the person on the other end cares.
Good point. Very good point.
I think that is what a lot of it is. I know that's how it is with me. It's not necessarily that I don't care. It's that I don't want to be a bother. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to.
You've said that forever. You've said that since I've known you. It's accepting that someone else loves you.
And when I have things that I want to talk about with people, I go through the list in my head. Who can I talk to about this that is, I know is not going to be in a place where it's too overwhelming, where all of a sudden I'm bringing this and like I'm the strong person for them right now because they're going through shit. Who can I talk to about this that would be able to be there for me? And generally I end up at legitimately nobody. So then I don't tell anybody. And then I hold it in for a while.
And that's, to me, that's sad, but I understand why. But I mean, truth be told, the other night, I bawled my eyes out to you and you just listened to me.
Yeah.
All you did was sit there and listen and not say, fuck you, Lobau, you suck. This is wrong. This is, whatever. You just sat there and listened. The next day, I'm like, okay, let's go. You see what I'm trying to do here? It's like, is present something to where it's like, all you have to do, which is a lot, is give a fuck about the person you love. That is it. But but it seems so difficult for neurotypicals to understand this. Like, just care. I care.
It's it's that society, and especially I would say Western society, has promoted this individualism concept so hard that now you feel like you really do have to take everything on yourself, or else you're not being
the right
individual.
thing. Yeah, exactly. It's so ironic though. It's like, well, in order to promote good content, you have to act like you care, right? Like you have to act like you care.
Yeah.
No, you just have to give a fuck and not care about the goddamn content. Care about the fucking person.
Yep.
That's it. Yep. So we started off fast. This is day one, and we are 7 minutes in. I do have to ask you, and I will ask you this every single day. What are you most proud of today?
God damn it.
Everyone hates it. They hate it so much.
But I am proud that I allowed myself to rest and I didn't guilt myself over it today.
I love that.
That has been a lesson that is many months in the making. And I am to the point where I am able to do it, not necessarily at will, but especially when I have my kids, that I can allow myself to rest and be with them and be present with them and understand that I'm not cheapening their time with me because I didn't take them anywhere, because we didn't do anything
Right.
super fun, right? But they have this time with me where we just got to hang out and
You're together.
yeah.
You're together. That's doesn't matter what you do as long as you're together in that. So there is a last thing I'll say before we move on to day 2 is there was a very strategic reason I chose you this week. This is the busiest week of the year for me, as in by far the busiest. I am getting hit from my normal job, from my friends. Basically, I can't say what I do, but it is the biggest, quote, sporting event that I work every single year, where I have to move one stadium from a certain town to another stadium and operate everything. Meanwhile, everyone's hitting me up for tickets, parking passes, all this kind of stuff. It's extremely stressful. You have a calm confidence about you that I need this week. So, like legitimately so. So again, in a season of I'm going to give a fuck about myself also, instead of just killing myself for other people.
Right.
I'm going to tell you straight up, I want to talk to you this week every day because you're the only motherfucker in the world that can calm me down a little bit. So I love you, RJ.
I love you too, Loba.
All right. Welcome to day 2. How are you today?
So if you'd asked me earlier today, I would have been chaotic. I would have said, there's just something that is weighing on me and I don't know what it is.
Right.
And there's a couple things that happened. I'm feeling really great. I had a really busy day today.
Good.
But it was a busy that I was able to not just navigate, but really get through in a way that has left me feeling fulfilled.
Awesome.
So this morning, journaling. So I journal every day. I know it's weird. If you'd asked me a year ago, I'd have told you to go fuck yourself. I'm never going to journal, you piece of fucking shit. Stay the fuck away from me. Now I journal every day.
So I'm you. I'm you a year in the past. I'd be like, fuck that.
Yep.
I'm not journaling.
It's so helpful every once in a while. Not every day it's helpful, but sometimes it is.
Right.
And I realize that I'm angry. And it's okay. What am I angry about? Well, I'm still angry about the divorce that I'm going through. I'm still angry, my ex, because I don't want this. And the way that it's gone down is just not something that I feel like is necessarily wanted by either of us, but it is. And so we have 2 kids that we're working through things with. And I'm mad about that, but I haven't been allowing myself to feel mad because I've wanted to just get through the grieving, the sad, the anger, everything. So I'm like, I'm not going to feel it anymore. And I was pushing it away and pushing it down. And like, I'm going to just focus on this. And by doing that, it has just built up. And so now with me naming that, it's like, of course I feel that way. Why wouldn't I feel that way? It's not something that I want. It's not something that I've wanted at all.
Right.
And I'm at a place where things are starting to move up. And a lot of that is because I'm no longer waiting for her to come around. But that doesn't mean that I'm not sad about it. It doesn't mean that I'm not mad about it. And when I don't allow myself to feel that and I just push it away, it just weighs on you, you know, it weighed on me.
You're using passion to get through it.
Yeah. Yeah. And some of it is, you know, is that fuck you, watch me energy that. You think that I'm going to be like buried. I'm going to be like, fuck you, watch me. And that gets you started, but it doesn't get you sustained.
Correct.
And along with that, I've been wanting to just move on with my life. And I've been doing that. But because I've been wanting to move on with my life, I have pushed this to the side. I've done enough grieving. I've done it. I've had enough anger. I'm tired of it. I want to do. But the thing is, if I do that and I don't honor it, it just sits there.
So let's honor it today.
And it doesn't move. And that's what I did.
So let's honor it today.
And that's what I did. Yeah. I was just like, well, yeah, of course. Like, I get to be pissed off about this.
Yeah,
I'm gonna let
it's a
myself be
shitty
pissed off for a
fucking
little while.
situation. Like,
Yeah,
it's a shitty
yeah.
thing. Like,
And so moving through that, like, it allowed me to get some work done this morning. It
hell
allowed
yeah.
me to really show up as a coach for a client that I have that's just beginning their alcohol free journey. It let me show up for a group of people who are just beginning their alcohol free journey. And then
Can I ask you
I,
one thing? I'm
yep,
interrupting. I'm doing it. Can you please explain to people what exactly you're doing and helping them with alcohol free? Because
yeah.
honestly, like, people need to hear this. So
So I have not drank in over 10 years. I've had a podcast called Untapped Keg for 3.5 years. And over the past year, I've gotten certified as a self-discovery after alcohol coach. Basically, I'm a life coach, but with an alcohol-free kind of viewpoint on it. And so I help people to see that their beliefs about alcohol aren't actually what they're getting from alcohol. So your beliefs are there for different reasons, and it's not serving you to continue to believe that, and it's not honestly what you're getting. And so when you work on your beliefs around it, when you work on your emotions around it, and you start to work on that, you don't just change the behavior, you lose the desire to do it. And so with that,
wow,
I'm
wow,
working with This Naked Mind, and I'm helping to facilitate and be a coach in 3-year-long groups for alcohol free. It's called The Path. If you go to thisnakedmind.com, you'll find it. It's really amazing. The success rate is unbelievable. 90% of the people that were polled, and it was a random amount, it was done by a third party. 90% of the people who were polled changed their relationship with alcohol, and it's now healthier.
wow.
That doesn't mean that they stopped drinking. It means that they
Right.
completely changed it. 90%. And I want to say it was like 2,300 people. I can find the numbers after
That's
this.
actually
But
amazing, RJ. Like,
yeah.
that's okay. So I'm gonna need that on Sunday of this.
Okay. I'll be there.
Because
And
honestly, like,
the thing with this, and what I said about self-discovery
yeah,
is it goes to life. It's not just a substance. It's not just weed. It's not just alcohol. It's not just porn. It goes to life and how you're coping. And so
I
my
love
self
that.
discovery is why I'm at where I'm at, why I realized I was angry and I have to feel that.
Well, this has been a hell of a day too. Already, I love it. I love it. You came in here with energy today.
I didn't even get to the best part yet.
Oh shit! Get to the best part. Fuck.
So I had a really heavy coaching call on Saturday that was like, it was a lot of really heavy stuff.
Yeah.
And I felt like I did okay, but I felt like I left stuff there. Like I could have done a better job. I wasn't sure I helped people. And my mentor, who has been doing this for like 3 years, she sent me a message today, and she said, "Hey, I appreciate the heads up because we're putting a content warning on there because there's some stuff that is massive. So we want people to know about it."
Yeah.
And she's like, "By the way, that is one of the best coaching calls I have ever had the pleasure to watch." And I was like, "Oh." And she's like, "It wasn't just how you held space, because you hold space better than so many people. It was your transitions, your ability to bring humor into this in a not crass way, but a way that everybody related to. And it was your body language too. You were there with them." And I was
Oh
like,
my
"Oh,
God, RJ, that
okay."
is such a fucking you can't get a better compliment than that.
No, no,
That
it was,
that's literally saying thank you for being who you are. That's what
yep,
that's saying.
yep.
How many?
And so like that was weighing on me too, because like that call, I was still like, I don't, if people watch it, I don't know what they're going to get from it. I don't really know. And it turns out, once again, my opinion about myself cannot be trusted.
Dude, I totally get that because I'm struggling with this. The episode with Leo on or today that came out, that is going to be the last episode I edit and I am panicking, right? Like I'm panicking. I'm like, I want to put like my best foot forward so that other people understand. So the YouTube manager and I came to an agreement. I will not edit until the final minute. I'm getting my fucking fade out, okay? Like I'm so I will not edit the main body, but I will edit. I want the motivation. Just like you just said, was like that girl told you that. That's oh my god, you can't want anything else from what you're doing than what she said. Nothing else.
Absolutely.
Well, I can't even ask you what you're most proud of today because you just described it, but what are you most proud of today?
Taking my kids to the store and getting them Pokemon cards.
Fuck yes.
And being patient with them and trying to choose which one they wanted to get. Instead of saying, nope, you're getting this one and walking out, I sat there until he chose which one. And
wow.
That's what, if you hear them, that's what they're going bonkers over right now is the Pokemon cards they brought home.
You should be proud of that because again, if I ever have kids, I'm learning from you and Leo right now because it's literally the same thing that he said on day 2 was like, I had the patience to wait in line to get on the ride to go to I'm like, oh my God. I don't know if I have it in me, man. Like straight up. Like I don't know if I'm able to do that. But I think I would be the greatest father this world has ever fucking seen. I know that. But that patience that you possess, I don't know how to go about that. I literally cannot imagine all the things I'm going through and then wait. Take a deep breath. That's just I'm being honest. Like I'm trying to be as honest as I can. Like I don't know how that would work.
And it's a learned skill. It's not something that I had when I was younger, but honestly, when you see the look on their face, the way that you connect with people and it's your child, you see the look on their face as they're picking out the Pokemon cards that they want. It helps you to find
that
another
makes
level.
100% sense. One of my friends told me the birth of his first child. He was like, "This is Cloud 9. I never understood this, but this is Cloud 9." And my ADHD and my mental health is like, I don't know if I want to be on Cloud 9 because I will do nothing else but protect that person.
Yeah.
And I will say to fuck with the world. Like I will do nothing but care about that person. And of course I'll take to the extreme, which is, but you have to be able to balance it, which you seem to do really well, which is why I need you this week. Is basically like you do these things for your kids. You also get your job done. If I had kids, I don't know if I could ever get my job done.
Yeah, you could. You have ADHD. You get as much done in 3 hours that the average person gets done in 10.
I love it. RJ, I'll let you get back to your kids. Day 2. Hey, congratulations. Day 2.
Thank
at the
you.
same time. At the same time. I love you, buddy. I'll see you tomorrow.
I love you too. Sounds great.
Man. Yep. So, welcome to day 3. 3 days in a row. How are you doing today, RJ?
I am peaceful.
Beautiful.
That's not something that I even understood a year ago what it meant. I heard people say that and I assumed it was something like Buddhist monk, like a normal person can't get to that.
Yeah.
And the first time I felt it, I actually was mad because I thought I was numbing my emotions again. And I was like, I went through all that pain. I went through all that work. And now I'm numbing my emotions. And a few minutes later, a song came on that reminded me of my ex-wife, and I had a tear that came down, and I was like, oh, I am feeling, what is this? And then I realized it was peace. And I was like, oh, is this the happiness that people talk about getting to? Maybe. Whatever it is, I enjoy it. But that's how foreign it was the first time I
It's
had
the
felt
ability
it.
to feel feelings is peace, regardless of what the feeling is. If you have the ability to feel feelings, you'll be at peace because you can experience them in their raw and real form, which is
Oh yeah.
so. RJ, like, I got to be honest, it's day 3. It's amazing to me that people say ADHD people can't stick to a schedule. Bullshit. Because we absolutely can if we're the ones creating it with each other. Hey, does this work for you? If not, great. Does this work for you? Okay, yeah, that does. So we show up. This is not a difficult concept for me. It is, I think we're actually the most scheduled people on Earth, but you got to give us some fucking slack to make our own schedule that works. You can't dictate this shit. Like,
and that's what I was going to say is I think the collaboration is what's most important.
Yeah.
Like giving us the opportunity to have a say.
Yeah.
And understanding that our headspace might dictate that we have to skip 1 or 2. That's okay. That happens. But we will probably be there no matter what our headspace is, to be honest.
Correct. And that's the double-edged sword side, is like, we're going to kill ourselves to be there, even if we don't feel like it. But the thing is, if you give us the power to communicate with the other person that we're going to be meeting up with, then we want to show up. It's not a obligation. It's I can't wait to talk to RJ today. And that's so I've been doing. One of my friends hired me to, basically, he's the CEO of a company that I can't say. And he was like, I just need to get shit done. Can you please help me? So we talked for 15 minutes a day for months. And at the end of it, he goes, this was actually just an excuse to connect with you. I didn't really need the help. I just wanted to connect with you and talk on a daily basis. And that meant everything to me. So this is my excuse. I told Leo the same thing. It's my excuse to connect with RJ every day. The podcast is the excuse of, I want to talk to RJ every day. So we're going to fucking do it. And that's...
I find that as well, that the podcast gives me an excuse to schedule time to talk with somebody, because for some reason we feel like scheduling is less connection, no matter what we're scheduling, than if it was spontaneous. The truth is, connecting is connecting. It doesn't matter if it's scheduled or not.
I love it. I love day 3 already. Last thing, what are you most proud of?
Dang it.
Today. You always say dang it at the
because you always ask me, but I always forget. I'm just here to have the conversation. I'm not here to talk about what I'm most proud of.
That's what's hard. Once again, it is time to give recognition to this podcast's biggest supporters. Without you, this does not exist. So thank you, Leo Guinan. Thank you, Kirk Hofstrom. Thank you, Blushing Crafter. Thank you, Casey Elliott. Thank you, Justin Allingham. Thank you, Sarah Delano. You get a special one because you were one of my earliest supporters from TikTok. Love you, Sarah. Thank you, Jamie Young. And thank you, Beth Jones. Also, a huge thank you to the anonymous supporters of this podcast. I understand if you don't want to publicly say that you support this because I am fucking outrageous and I curse a lot and I'm in your face and all that. I get it. 10 anonymous supporters, and to the ones I mentioned by name, Thank you. Today.
I'm going to say allowing myself to not be what most people and what I used to define as productive, and to not be productive. Like, I am a little bit, but not to a level that I would usually be okay with, I guess, or
Right. Makes sense.
I would feel guilt around. I'm allowing myself to not be that productive, understanding that I'm coming off a couple weeks where I was very, very, very busy. And because I'm not so productive, I'm refilling my own cup. I'm going to be able to be more present with my kids tonight. Also, also, I am actually, if I look at it through a different lens, I'm being very productive because now tomorrow I can show up better, more well rested, and everything like that. So, not feeling guilty for the non-traditional productivity.
You have a way of phrasing things that is unbelievable. I will say, in the last group episode, what I said was, you encourage me every day, RJ, to show up 100% myself. Like, that's what I am. Like, I'm fucking using this situation to hang out with you. That's what this whole podcast, whatever. I just want to talk to you. So it's all good. So day three is in the books. Day 4 tomorrow. Welcome to day 4. How are you today? How was your day? I'm tired. I got to be honest. I am tired.
I thought I was going to be very distraught and you were going to see me be a crying mess right now.
Really?
Most of my day was anxiety filled. Me ruminating over and being nervous about an event that I had. And just kind of reliving negative things of my life, missing my ex-wife, like missing my family, having the family that I thought I was going to have, right? Missing some of my old businesses, opportunities, things like that. And I'm actually in a really great place and having a few epiphanies on the night.
Wow. Okay.
I still have this imposter syndrome. I still think that people see me the way that I see me. It still hasn't occurred to me that people see me different and that my credibility about myself really needs to be taken into account, which is that I have zero credibility when it comes to myself.
Yeah.
And yeah, I thought that I was going to be in a place where I didn't belong. I thought I was going to be in a place where I'd let people down in a big way. And that wasn't the case at all. I was telling myself this story over and over and over again. Sometimes I get stuck in the stories.
Yeah.
And I don't see the truths inside of it.
You've said that so many times about like how you've always thought, like, how can someone else respect me? Like, what a piece of shit, what a piece of shit, this, that, the other. Truth be told, like, I was so tired today that I was 30 seconds away an hour ago from being like, I don't know if I can do another call today. And I was like, no, you absolutely can take an hour nap. So that's why the link came at 5 minutes before, as I set my alarm right for that and just went to sleep in the chair. And it was like, okay, this whole aspect of showing up, now I'm invigorated again. I felt like shit earlier, but now I'm talking to you, and so I'm good again. Like, that's it. But I understand what you're saying, the imposter syndrome of, like, what a piece of shit. I told myself all day, if I can't meet with RJ today, what a piece of shit you are. This is what you want to do. This is your thing, all this kind of stuff. What a piece of shit for being tired. What a piece of shit. No, people get tired. They take a nap. and then they show the fuck up for the people they love.
Isn't that the truth? Isn't that the truth?
And it doesn't beat me down. That's the thing. It's like this has not beaten me down. It's actually enhanced my evening so that now in 10 minutes when we get 5 or 10 minutes when we get off this call, I'm going straight into my wife, putting on fucking Casper the Friendly Ghost, eating food, and going to bed. That's my night is enhanced because of you, because of this situation. That's the whole thing. And I think that so many of us say, what a piece of shit, what a piece of shit. Well, we can build each other up like no one's fucking business to not think we're pieces of shit.
It's all about those connections.
Yeah.
And I really thought that 3 o'clock, I was
same time
not in a good place. And I like around 10 or 11, I was spiraling. And so I texted my best friend and I'm like, hey, can you meet me at a coffee shop an hour before this event? It's weighing on me. I'm not in a good place. I've got like this consistent and constant buildup of stress to the point of being overwhelmed. It's just like whatever I'm doing, I just cannot keep it at bay. Nothing's working, right? And so I met him for coffee and was talking about things, and I started to feel better because he was there just for me.
Yeah.
And didn't judge me. It was about the connection.
Yeah.
And so that started things off really well. And then going into the event, allowing myself to see the interactions for what they actually were, instead of me putting my premeditated interactions onto it, right?
Right.
That
What
I
a
could
good
have read
point.
some things as a negative, as they're mad at me. I did let them down. The truth was they were stressed too, just like I was stressed.
Yep.
And that allowed me to realize, when I realized that they were stressed, okay, this is not just an RJ thing. This is a human thing.
Yeah.
It's okay.
Dr. Russell Barkley, the ADHD, I think one of the greatest ever at explaining it, said that ADHD people will always be dependent on the external situations for how productive they are. We are external. Other people are internal. So when you're telling yourself, you suck, that, I'm spiraling, that's an internal feeling. It requires external support for you to realize internally that it's okay. And that literally is, he explains it in a great way, but it is the outcome of our actions will most likely always be dependent on external factors. The problem with that, I disagree with that in some way. However, I firmly believe it in another, because it's like, yes, it requires other people to say, hey, I will meet you at the coffee shop. I will get on the Zoom call tonight. I will do those things. But if we all know that about each other as ADHD people, when one's up and the other's down, pick them up. If you're up, pick someone else up. If you're down, someone's going to pick you up. Like, because on any given time, at any given day, one of us is going to be good. Okay. Goddamn. Get in touch with them.
Just having that knowledge too allows you to explain that to people in your life who are important to you and you are important to them. And all of a sudden there's an understanding, not just of you, of yourself, but of what they see compared to what you feel. And
100%.
Whoa, I could help you this way. Really?
That's so
and it's
cool.
like, I didn't even like, that's the thing about ADHD and all of like the cliches and the misnomers, and not actually understanding fundamentally what it is.
Right. Right.
So just the knowledge changes everything.
And it's amazing to me. Like, would you ever have thought at 3 o'clock that this would probably be the best day that we've spoken with the best points ever?
No.
Neither did I.
I was 90% sure I was going to be a crying mess.
And I was 90% sure I was going to sleep through it. Like, honestly, that's
Yeah.
literally, I was so tired. That's where I was. But we both shut up and we both fucking helped each other. And it's been 10 minutes.
Yeah. And that's what I like to say to people, especially like big changes in your life. All of this,
Yeah.
just showing up deserves so much credit.
Oh my God.
So much credit.
Doesn't it? It's one of the most important things in the world.
And it's like the thing that can change how you're viewing everything is just showing up.
Yes. Yes, because you helped me immensely. I helped you immensely. Another friend helped you immensely earlier by showing up. This is short. I mean, honestly, day 4 is now in the books. I do have to ask you, and I know you hate it. What are you most proud of today? I can help you with this because I know you were spiraling. I'm proud of fucking showing up to this tonight.
That's what I was going to say was the fact that I allowed myself, despite the spiral, despite the anxiety, the fear, all that constant buildup, I allowed myself to be present and not let the stories carry through.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm most proud of myself being. And yeah.
I love that. RJ, I love you. Tomorrow,
I love you.
Day 5. All right, buddy.
Let's go.
We think it's so hard until we do it. And then it's like we get this jolt for having done it. And we don't get enough credit for doing the goddamn thing that we're doing. You know?
Yeah.
That's my opinion, at least.
But I agree. I agree with you 100%. And
this is not difficult, except for that it's so difficult. Welcome to day 5. RJ, how are you today?
I don't know. I'm kind of meh. Today's a reset day for me, so I'm not really working on anything. I'm more just like catching up on stuff that it hasn't been super important. So ADHD, if it's not important, see ya.
Yeah, done.
So I'm just kind of catching up on things, floating through to some meetings. And the beauty of being an entrepreneur, I mean, there's a lot of stress, but the beauty is that I get to take these days that happen and go where the wind blows me. Right?
This makes sense. Wind's about to blow me off the porch right now, but but yeah. So it's interesting, and this plays perfectly into. So you know the acronym of SPARK: speed, passion, attitude, reliability, knowledge. That's the thing. Knowledge is reflection. This is day 5. Reflection. You are not overly excited. You're not, feeling pressure to do a lot. You're meh.
Yep.
That's when you get this back, you will attack tomorrow so strong. Like, that's in my opinion. But it's not promoting my own strategy. It's just, it kind of played really well into that. So I had to say it. But what have we done today? And what are we going to do later today? You have a call at some point with someone that obviously needs your help.
Yep. So far today, I've reached out to people I've had conversations with online, journaled, read a chapter in a book, which was nice, and just kind of reflected on like I said, some of the things that I've kind of pushed to the side while some more important things were at the forefront.
Yeah.
And so later this afternoon, I have 2 meetings, and then I'm going to Kung Fu, which is, it includes a workout, but it's also like that mindfulness and meditation state that I get to while I'm doing that. Being physically active turns out it's important for ADHD people. So
weird.
Yeah. And knowing that I have this coming up too, it's going to be this really is a reset day, because tomorrow I'll be able to do what I feel, is the most productive thing. Like, one of the things that I'm going to do is write out what is going to be the most benefit for me for my next 2-3 steps.
Right.
And I'll maybe make 2 of them for tomorrow. And if I get all 3 done, that's perfect. If I only do 2, that's perfectly fine too. I don't want to overload myself because I'm at a point
Even
where
if you do
I
one,
could be. Yeah.
if you do one,
Yep.
that's huge. Lobau Spark has started a fundraising effort for Crisis Text Line. We have a goal of $19 per episode, as $19 supports one person in their time of absolute crisis with their mental health. If you would like to donate through our fundraiser titled Lauren's Infinity, the link is listed in the episode's description. Lauren was my wife's best friend and loved by all who came into contact with her. Huge. I have a lot of steps tomorrow I want to accomplish, but it's more than likely just setting down, goals that I don't necessarily expect to happen, but I'm going to dog it to death until I do. And if I get one done, I'm fucking euphoric over that.
Yeah. I mean, it's like what we talked about last night or
Yeah.
yesterday was show up.
Yep. That's exactly. But you do seem a little bit not stressed, but just kind of not excited today. A little bit more just, I don't know. It's a different RJ than I've seen the past 4 days, which is awesome. Which is awesome. That's the whole point.
And I would say I'm like neutral. I'm not feeling low. I'm not high and excited and a lot of things going on. I'm just showing up and allowing my body and my mind to go where my body to rest, my mind to take a break, and also my mind, instead of directing it, just go.
And you know what's funny about this is these are the type of days, in my opinion only, that you learn the most about yourself. You learn the most about yourself when you're neutral, because when you're high, it's like, okay, let's go, let's go, let's go. When you're low, it's I can't do anything. I suck, I suck, I suck. So there's those extremes. These are actually the best days ever to gain knowledge about the fact that you're neither.
Yeah. And it's like the thing is too, that we've talked about is showing up authentically as yourself. And
100%.
that changes from day to day, right? You have seen my authentic self. Today, this is my authentic self. This is how I'm showing up. And that's something important to call out too.
Absolutely.
And that's
100%.
Yeah.
That's the whole project. That's the whole project is that. And obviously I'm heightened this week because it's very stressful. However, I have slept, I have eaten, and I owe you a huge debt of gratitude for these things because I told you that I needed you this week. So you showed up every day, even if it was, a lot. I mean, 2 ADHD people showing up every day at a time that they come up with and actually following through with it is a miracle to me. But it's not a miracle. That's the whole thing.
It does. And it takes dedication, right? It takes, what's the word I'm looking for? What do people say? Like they feel like I am somebody who is disciplined. That's what I'm looking for. And I'm like, it depends on your definition of that word.
Correct. 100%.
Because I'm not 100% like disciplined that a lot of people would call disciplined.
Well, we've been taught the wrong thing of what discipline is. Discipline is you wake up at 5 a.m. You go to the gym, you stay focused, you do, that's not what discipline means. In my opinion, discipline is the ability to recognize shit in yourself and show up as yourself. That's discipline. The rest of the shit is fucking fake.
Yep. That's exactly what I was going to say is my definition of discipline too is, showing up for yourself. And that's consistently choosing yourself.
100%. I am very proud of us, RJ. 5 days in a row of speaking to the same person is hard. Like with all the shit going on, it's hard to do this. But it really wasn't hard for me because I love you.
Yeah.
So it's like I
Same.
just get to talk to RJ. So fuck, why
Yep.
not? You know, like this isn't a drag or a you think I have to do. I want to do this. And I think the more that people with ADHD want to do something, the better they become.
Yep. Absolutely. And that's important too, is to realize and make things in a way that you want to do it.
Yeah.
How can you do that?
Again, that's this whole project is, oh, this didn't work. Well, here's another idea. I'm going to try it. And I'm just going to put myself and people first at the same time and just reach out to the people I love and talk to them. That carried me this week. like it literally did. It was, I want to talk to RJ this week. So I talked to you and that's it.
Yeah.
Like that's now I'm okay every day knowing that, okay, well, I'm going to talk to RJ at a certain time. I might not feel great right now, but I know that by talking to him, he's just going to have this complete calm presence about him. And as much as you know, you can be hyperactive, I'm sure, and fly off the rails like we all can, you are calmer than I could ever be. And I needed a balance of a friend this week.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure. I'm glad that I can provide that for you too. That kind of support. So I'm glad you recognize that and you reached out for support, right? You knew it.
That's the whole thing. So instead of what are you most proud of today for the final day, and I just thought of this, big surprise ADHD, I'm going to go ahead and say, what are you most proud of me for?
I like this one. You know what I'm most proud of you for? I'm most proud of you for recognizing the support that you were going to need and being preemptive about doing that for yourself. So showing up for yourself. And you just mentioned the sleeping, the eating, the taking care of yourself. So you knew that you were going to need that this week, and you created an opportunity for it to make it easier on yourself. And that's what you did. And so that's what I am most proud of you for.
Awesome. Now here's where it gets a little more difficult. You need to say, you have to ask me, what am I most proud of you for? But you have to ask it.
All right, Lobao, what are you most proud about me for?
I am most proud of you for fucking showing up every day for someone like me. And I don't mean someone like me in a bad way. I just mean that I'm pretty intense. I will throw the kitchen sink and say, let's do this, let's do this, let's do this. But people have lives. They have things they have to do. I am most proud of you for being the most authentic fucking person I have met in a long time. Because every time I talk to you, it makes me like, I get motivated by it. Even if you're not motivated, I'm motivated just by seeing someone else put their best self forward all the time. And your best self isn't what the world thinks it is. You just show up. You're just the most authentic fucking person ever. And I love you a lot. And I'm getting emotional, and that's fine. So I needed you this week. Thank you. And I'm so proud that we are so close.
Yeah, I am.
Authenticity, man, that is your thing. That is your thing. Like, you are the most authentic ever, in my opinion, of anyone I've spoken with, the most authentic. I am so proud of you for that.
Thank you. That's such high praise. That's such high praise.
If I get to 60% of your authenticity, I'm going to have a great fucking life. So that was I don't know. I just came up with that in the last second. It was kind of like
I love that.
spark.
I love that. And being true to yourself, right?
Yeah, I was like
flexible, like.
Yeah, and you know what? If people are going to say, "Oh, you need these external things," or it's begging for compliments, it's not begging for compliments. What it is asking someone something that will help you feel better about yourself. What is the problem with this?
That's society teaching us that we don't.
Right.
Like if you ask for something, then it's cheapened, it's lessened, it's something else.
Bullshit.
But that's not true.
It's the hardest
people
thing.
Don't have to. Yeah.
It's the hardest thing to do is to say, what are you most proud of me for? That is such a, it's cringy, right? Like it's different, but I want to know so that I can get better.
And we talked earlier in the episode, people see it was last night.
Yeah.
About how sometimes we need different eyes to be able to see ourselves, because our eyes that we see ourselves with have such a filter on it that we cannot see a lot of the good.
Yeah.
Most of the good. Sometimes any good.
Yeah. When it's only about what you think of yourself, odds are it's probably not going to work for the long haul. But when you have someone else reiterating to you your authenticity, your awesomeness, all of that, then you start to believe it yourself.
Yeah. Especially if you're open to the fact that so many different people are relaying the same message to you.
Yeah.
And so if I'm getting the same messages from somebody else, maybe I'm wrong when it comes to me.
Yeah.
Maybe I need to open myself up to them being right and actually explore that.
I love it. I love the fact that you are so right about me and I am so right about you. So RJ, I love you. This has been fun, man.
I love you too.
Today's topic is ADHD and friendship, and it was brought up by Terry, who also named the Friday get-togethers ADHD with benefits. That was what she came up with, which I thought was brilliant. And friendship means a lot to me. But I never really struggled making friends. I want to know what ADHD affects in you in terms of, like, was it easy to make friends when you were growing up? Was it hard? And how does friendship play a role now in your life? Does it help with your ADHD? Does it not? Do you feel too obligated towards friends? I mean, there's a lot of things that go into this, but what we're doing right now is friendship, in my opinion. And that is helping. But Terry, if you would like to explain just a little bit of why you chose it, and then after that, I will call on people to give their ADHD and friendship opinions and whatnot.
Okay, so I think everybody pretty much has heard you say over and over again, like, friendship is the answer. Friendship is the answer, how important it is. And I know, like, the beginning of the summer, you were helping me through some things and just kind of being there supportive and everything, and talking about, like, friendship is so important. And then you were actually also being a friend, and it has been very helpful, and just in the fact of getting me through, and so many other of you on here tonight that have helped me through so much. And when you were doing your theme for this new season, and, like, how the friendship aspect is so important, I was like, well, why don't we talk about it, so
That's perfect, actually. Why don't we talk about it? I mean, I think it needs to be talked about. I am going to call on Ross first, because he's a newcomer to this group, and I love it. Ross, you are so awesome. Like that, I listened to our episode over and over and over. Like, that was so much fucking fun. So
it was good fun.
ADHD and friendship to you.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I don't feel that I massively have trouble making friends, but I don't feel I'm often a very good friend, because I just forget. Like, for me, it's like I can be the best friend, If someone needs me, I'll be there. Like, so when it comes to those sorts of things, like if someone just said, if someone literally picked up the phone and then called me right now and said, I need you, and I class them as a friend, I'd be like, what can I do? I'll be there. But because I'm so caught up in my own mind, I don't feel like I am the person that's always there to be like, you're right, how you doing? You're right, how you doing? I'm not, that's not me. And so often I feel that I'm not the normal friend that will be always there, but if you ever needed me, I would be. And so, and this, the whole thing tonight was, I was saying to Kirk earlier that I had a day of it, like I had a real day, and then I saw this in my inbox, and I was like, I know where there's a safe space, and the last time we spoke, I'd had a real day, and so I was like, I need like-minded people, and so it's like it's quarter to 12 here at night, so normally it's trying to fit that in on my Friday evening, and so it's not always easy. But today I was like, this is what I need, and equally it's like it's a selfish thing for me, but at the same time, I figured that this is where I wanted to be, and so yeah, that's kind of me. But like I'm fiercely loyal when it comes to friendship, but I don't feel that comes across that often. You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like because of the way that I am, that people don't see that I am. But if anyone ever called upon it, I would like fight for anything to be there.
You bring up a great point with how you said that, as in I'm not the one that checks in constantly, but I'll be there for you at the, when the shit hits the fan. I think that's stereotypical. I mean, that's ADHD in a nutshell. I think a lot of what we miss is the constant checking in. So just one thing for me is I like to consider checking in with someone as that ultimate crisis, as that is the shit hitting the fan. Hey, how are you? That is shit hitting the fan, because you never know.
Yeah, totally.
But so thank you, Ross. That is amazing. Blushing, ADHD and friendship. To you.
So I was actually the kid that could make a couple of friends, but I didn't manage to do what people said was like real friendships until my teens. And then it was always very few, like a small handful. I don't think I've had a whole lot of issues with being in contact with people. Me connecting with them, like being the person to take initiative. So I haven't had that issue. But when your ADHD brain is taking so much brain power that you are like really, really exhausted, a lot of the time, yes, you connect with people, but do you have a whole lot to give without that taking you down to a place where you don't have anything left, right?
Right.
Because it's very rewarding to help other people and to be a friend, but it's also when you're in a bad place, it's really, really potentially damaging to you if you can't build up a little bit before giving, right?
Yeah, and we talked about that, I think, a couple episodes ago. You're absolutely right on that. I would like to go with Mercedes next. She seemed to really resonate with what you said, Blushing. So,
yeah, definitely. I was listening to her and I was like, yes.
Yeah.
So growing up, I didn't have, it was really easy for me to make friends growing up as a child and as a teenager. But as you grow older, I never, since I noticed that I had ADHD when I was 29, I actually never knew that I had this problem. So I never knew how to mask my ADHD. So making friends when you're young, it's easy. When you grow older and you can't mask your symptoms, and you're in like maybe in a new place where you don't know people, you may come across as the odd one out. And growing up, that was normal for me because, you know, I was goth, and, you know, I made friends who were goth as well, and we were all the odd one out. So it was really easy to make friends like that. But growing up, when you're like, maybe, I don't know, at an office or something like that, and all of a sudden you're, I don't know, you're behaving like a child, and people look at you, it's hard to make friends. Especially where I live, people, I don't know, I mean, I know that in the US there's people are more aware of these things, and there's, you know, many people are different, and that's okay. For everybody there is something, but here in Argentina it's like most people are kind of like the same, you know, they like the same music, they go to the same places, and when you're the odd one out, it's super hard to make friends. Actually, make friends on the internet much easier, because you actually get to find people who resonate with you, rather than just, you know, the people who surround you that may have nothing in common with you. So, and yeah, and you know, regarding what Blashin was saying, I'm the friend that everyone comes to when they need advice. Hey Michi, I need advice with this or that, or my business or whatever. But when I need them, they're usually not as willing to help as maybe I am. And there comes a point when you have ADHD where you know, you can't pour from an empty cup. And at this point in my life, I feel like I'm at that point. So I can't be the friend who is helping constantly.
I feel that exactly what you're saying is but I think a lot of it is that we're so high and heightened, you know, all the time, or low all the time, whichever it is, whatever day it is, that we kind of expect that reciprocation on our level, which no one can really do if they don't have ADHD, which is what makes this group so much fun, is that you can't reciprocate it on these high levels, if that makes any sense. Welcome, Justin from Australia. How are you, buddy?
I'm here, dear boy.
Okay,
so good to see you all, darling. Hola, Mercedes.
So
Mercedes, esa niña muy bueno.
We are talking about ADHD and friendship, and we got to keep it moving because we got a lot today.
I'll do the thing.
Do the thing. Awesome. So, Kirk, I would like to hear from you next on ADHD and friendship.
Geez, I could talk about this for a long time.
I know.
Yeah. So, yeah, I grew up in a very like nerd group friendship. So I didn't really, and I didn't have any trouble making friends when I was young. I had the same friends from when I was 5 years old to when I was 18 years old, and that did not change. I am still friends with those same people. I can text any of them right now. I'm still really bad at replying to texts. That's probably not going to change. I still have a core group of college guys that I talk to. Pretty like we were chatting today. We have a group chat. It has become a lot harder as an adult to find new friends. I've sort of like find a couple people I like at this job, and find a couple people I like at this job. I have found that I either have to create my own community, which is a lot of work. I really got lucky at one job. I was in charge. I got to hire everybody, and staff was amazing, and we all got along, which is fantastic. My current job, there was a minute where we had 4 people on staff in our store, and 3 of them had ADHD. So that was, we all got along again. So I got really lucky. I think one of the hardest parts for anyone with ADHD is keeping in contact at the same pace that everyone else in the world keeps in contact with each other. We either want to like info dump on you and be like, so can we talk about everything in the entire universe in these next 10 minutes? Or for the next 10 hours, or I totally forgot that you existed for 4 months. Yeah, so it's either let's info dump for 10 hours on someone until they cannot handle it anymore, or I totally forgot you existed for 4 months. I'm so sorry. And you don't feel any differently about them. You just ADHD'd off onto other things.
Right.
I feel like that's what we all do.
Yeah, I will save mine till the end. Dorsey, what do you have to say on ADHD and friendship?
You know me, I've just been scribbling notes.
Oh, I know. I as usual, it's going to be an awesome situation. But,
Well, and I also read something really interesting today. It's an article by a really neat person who wrote a book on social stuff. And this quote, oxytocin helps us read social cues better, which in turn help us notice and filter social stimuli, a key challenge for those who can feel bombarded in social settings, which obviously ADHD people can. And my whole thing didn't make sense, I guess, until later in life, but I was more friends with animals than with people. And I think I've been lucky to always have at least one or two true friendships in my life. But now looking back, since I was diagnosed for anxiety and treated, now looking back, I can say I was on an exhausting trip that I did not know about. And I was pushing myself so hard to be what I saw as the right kind of social, which was kind of my mom. And I was so social and just could change to please people, to be in different groups of people, so many friends with so many people on a shallow level, on a very shallow level. And I pushed myself so hard that it triggered an autoimmune response. I mean, that's also part of my whole journey thing, right? But we can do that. We can push ourselves so hard that we hurt ourselves. Because I was always like, it was easy, but it was like, you're too much, right? You guys know what I mean. You're too much.
yeah.
But I've come to embrace a new attitude about friendship because ADHD connection is so healing and it's so invigorating and it's something everyone should experience. But I've adopted a new attitude towards friends on the outside. And I think it's a good one that hurt a lot to learn. And I think you'll all understand because we can get attached to people, right? So my attitude is, and I wrote it down, that people come into our lives for a reason, for a purpose, and then they move on to touch someone else's. And that has made it a little easier to understand why so many friendships didn't work out, but it works for me.
There you go. I love that, actually. You're a spark, Dorsey. Momentary flash of light. This far.
I feel like for the first time, I'm figuring out who I really am versus that mask. And like, it's somebody who stops and starts talking. It's somebody who likes to write down stuff, but it's so much more intentional. And I love that. And
That's
I think
awesome.
it feels good.
Yeah, that's tremendous. Justin, what does ADHD and friendship mean to you? What does friendship mean to you? I know.
Initially, it meant not being discerning enough. So when you come from kind of like a people-pleasing, codependent background and an abuse background, it tends to be, who is my friend? Everyone, everywhere. Come to me, be my friend now. And you become more discerning over time because when, like, I'm interested in the intersection of ADHD, but also ADHD as a trauma response to sort of, there's differing views of thought about ADHD as a trauma response, and I'll get into that more another time. But essentially, I occasionally pick the wrong friends. I sort of invested myself into people who sharks smell blood. It's a bit of a dark topic, but if you look into the literature and the facts around narcissism, essentially there's predatory personality types that can see codependent personality types coming, and our need for connection can make us vulnerable to those types of people. So learning to be boundaried in our friendship, but also kind of intentional in the way we pick up on social cues. Like, I could immediately pick up on the social cue that you gave me because of our connection. Like, our social cues work better in that climate of connection. Not everyone will kind of, you know, do that for us. So being more discerning over time was very, very, very important. I think the thing I struggle with most particularly is the dichotomy between what people will say when they see you versus what people will naturally do to reach out to you, or how comfortable you can feel reaching out to other people. So basically, I would be in situations where I wouldn't see people for a period of time. And particularly because I was at university as a mature age student, a lot of my friends were younger than me. But I would go out and I would incidentally see someone that I knew from university, and I would be in the middle of what we call in Australia a kebab shop, which is essentially like, I don't know if you guys understand what a kebab is, but essentially it's like late night beer food. And people would, people would come up to me, people like girls I knew at university would come up to me, jump on me, like I was a tree and they were a koala. And me being me, I'm like, I used to be a fat kid. I'm like, hi. But then there was that energy I got in the moment that was like that. If I'm that great, you could ask me to hang out. It's like, what? Am I this or am I that? So basically growing up, you know, my upbringing wasn't particularly self-affirming, but the world outside that home life was very affirming. So I was like, am I this or am I that? So I have a number of really good friends that I got in the habit around COVID of, you know, just not seeing. And then you get that thing of, if you want to organize something, I don't know if you guys have ever been canceled on, but you take the risk of going, I choose you, and then it not working out and you go, did I do something wrong? So you stop taking the risk of organizing things or initiating things. So if anyone else had thoughts on initiating things, I think that would be interesting, because I think we need that. I don't know about you guys. I think we need that connection, but we're sometimes too scared to initiate it. But as soon as we get it, it's like, yes, yes.
Yeah. No, that's that's exactly right. And so, because it's people's, when you're friends with somebody, you can recognize their weaknesses and what they don't like doing, what is uncomfortable for them. So you can help them do that. If they feel awkward in a situation, you could say, hey, you won't feel awkward. I'm there. Like, that's a big thing with friendship, I think. And especially people with ADHD, we sense that. We know when someone's feeling a little off or awkward or whatnot, and then we leap right in and say, okay, I got you. That's
one more question.
That's a huge thing.
Question.
Yeah.
One more question. If anyone else also had ideas on, because I have a little bit of a happy puppy vibe, sometimes when I do get positive feedback from an environment, not this environment, but, you know, others, there's the dichotomy between the way people really feel about you and the way, the stuff that they think you feel the need to hear. So it's like, when I'm dealing with people, I'm like, it is what it is, whatever it is, but don't make it look like something other than what it is, because I can understand explicit, but I can't understand, you know, multi-level agendas. I'm all ice, no bug. I'm a simple Jap. No,
I think the same though. I feel exactly the same. Like that whole kind of.
Yeah.
I say to people, I'm black and white. Like, if I like you, I like you. If I don't, then I won't spend time with you. That's like my deal.
Right.
I don't have any in between. Like, I'm like, it's all good. And so I feel exactly the same. I feel very difficult. It's really difficult to gauge that. Are people just saying things to my face and they don't? And it's really hard to then just go, I don't really care.
It's the follow-up. It's the follow-up.
Yeah.
The follow-up is that's how you can discern between who's real and who isn't. If they don't follow up at all ever, then that means that they were kind of taking you. But if they're consistently sending you emails every week and saying, hey, let's get together and all that kind of stuff, that means we genuinely fucking care about you. So,
I was going to say that completely like the opposite. Like, I feel like I have ghosted people unintentionally and just acted in ways that like do not align with my values. But also, don't ever be afraid to reach out to people
right.
who forgot who you lost, but you had a real connection, because our intuition really is that good. Like, we really did have good connection.
100%. So Leo.
So as a kid, I always had friends like in school because I was always the one willing to be friends with the kids who didn't have other friends. And so like that's something that my parents actually like have pointed out to me as an adult, because I'm not one of those people with like a great memory of childhood. Like I've got a little bit here and there. But you know, like there were always a few friends, and I was never particularly popular. But I also didn't care that much because I had books. And you know, that was between the books and the video games, you know, I had a lot of friendships, I think in those realms, but I had a fairly close group of friends. And you know, through high school, like I developed some good friendships. But then like, you know, into college, I had some friends, but then it became an issue when lives diverged, right? And so I struggled in college, right? Like, so for a couple of years, ended up like getting kicked out of school. And so like the friends that I had in college, like that were there, kind of moved on. And then, you know, they moved away, and like I went back to college, but like didn't have kind of the same group of friends. And so that's kind of where things shifted. And then it was like, okay, then all of a sudden, like finally graduate college, but then immediately have a kid, and you know, and my friends have moved away, and you know, I'm dealing with work, and suddenly I'm fighting like anxiety and depression. I have no idea what the hell's going on. And I was always good enough at like kind of having friends at work, and like looking back, I realized that it had a lot to do with just like masking, right? Like I was really good at just like being the person I was supposed to be at work. And like it never went deeper than that. And like, but I like people enjoyed like talking to me, and you know, I would be a little weird, but just weird enough, like not too weird, because too weird is bad. You can't be too weird.
That's so true.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, there's like a socially acceptable level of weird in the workplace. And so like I really like, you know, put on that mask and wore that. And that lasted for so long. And then, you know, pandemic hit, and that was kind of my like all of a sudden realization of like all of this shit. And I'm just starting, you know, I'm unpacking all of it. And like that was kind of the realization that like I didn't know who the hell I was anymore, because I had masked so long. And like I lost all the friendships that I had because I didn't keep in touch, because it's hard enough when you're not spending all your time like, you know, putting up appearances. But then, you know, you throw that in, and it's like, God, I couldn't text back before. Like there's no way in hell I'm doing it now, right?
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, like it's like it's something that you need to put energy into it, and when you just don't have that energy, it's just not happening. And so that was like one of the things I realized, and I was like, shit, like I need friends. And like I was going through a rough time, like and kind of trying to unpack all of this. And like I texted some people, and like just totally unloaded, because, you know, I went from like 0 to like 1 million, and it's like this guy that I knew from work who had like left. I'm just like all of a sudden like texting this thing. He's just like, are you all right? Like this is yeah, no, I'm good. And so it was like it was weird. And so one of the things that I've really worked on doing is like, you know, it kind of goes into everything I'm doing online, and like trying to figure out how to make it easier to build like real relationships, real friendships online, because I see how important that is, and I see how hard everything else makes it. Like social media, it makes it terrible for actually like building relationships, right?
Yep.
And but you know, through like the people here and this group especially more than anything right now, it's amazing what these real friendships are good for. And I'm still not great because it's like I still have a hard time. Like I will be the person who is there for you if you ask, but I'm also the person who is like, I can't ask anybody for help ever. Like I don't even necessarily know when I need help, much less it's like then I have to like go ask for it. And like that's just that's something that's always been a bit tough. And I'm getting better at that, I think. But it's just like being able to have like the self-awareness now and kind of the mission I'm on right now. And, you know, I even put it in my Twitter bio. It's that important, right? Is the idea of just embracing my weird and just being like, you know what, I am weird as shit. And that's okay. Like I can be weird. Enjoying that aspect and kind of just like forcibly trying to drop the mask and like, you know, the friendships that stick around or come back are good. And like you, Dorsey, like it's like some things you just gotta let go. And it's like, you know what, I'm just not gonna worry about it. Because it's not worth worrying about it.
It'll
Right?
drive you
So
insane.
it will.
You hate yourself.
And so
Can
yeah.
I say a Leo thing?
What's that?
Leo does an amazing friendship thing. Basically, we are two people like us who are into the same thing. So imagine if every one of us was connected to someone else like us that was into the same thing. So we want to fix education.
Like what
We
we
can't
do,
annoy each other.
like what we're doing right now by
That's how I started lecturing HD with my twin in Canada.
I mean at scale. I mean like imagine if every little kid like us had someone like us that was into the same thing that they're into, so they couldn't annoy each other because they're going ape shit about the same stuff.
And Justin, that's amazing you say that. I will get into that actually in a little bit. Leo, did you have anything else to add?
The one thing I was going to throw out there is like, yeah, I think, you know, social media gives us the impression that we need to have these thousands of very shallow relationships, when I think the real beauty of the internet is finding that small group of people that like connects with you on such a level.
100%.
Yes.
And that's those are the level of connections that are important because they're the ones that actually like change your life. And you know, that's
100%.
It's almost like friendship matters. Like I think someone in here said something like that.
At one point, at some juncture.
But yeah, you know, it really is like it is something that could absolutely change the trajectory of your life in a way that nothing else ever will.
Because it changes your confidence.
It does.
It changes your confidence when you have people that you can trust around you. That changes it. Terry, can you close us out on this ADHD and friendship discussion?
I mean, to begin with, I'll just say I think I've always had an easy time making friends. And I mean, really, like just thinking about it, it's been mostly just an idea of putting yourself in situations of things that you enjoy or are interested in. Like, I played sports ever since I was little. So like I was on a softball team since I was young. I tried soccer. I played field hockey throughout high school. So, and I think there's kind of a different camaraderie when you're on a team with somebody. So like the friendships that form out of that are a bit more intimate than the ones that you might find with other people. Not saying that none aren't, but in my experience, those have been the better ones. So people that I was on a team with that, you know, you're doing practice, you're running sprints in 90-degree weather for field hockey. And it's like, we can't pretend to be anybody that we're not right now when you're huffing and puffing and, you know, you're sweating out some whiskey from the night before. Like you are who you are. And that's all it is. And, but I mean, just for the most part, like, I don't know, last weekend I went out with my parents, there was a live band and I'm just dancing, met a couple friends, you know, you just make, I think just being who you are without thinking, how am I going to make a friend today? Or, oh, I'd like to be that person's friend. because in the same token, sometimes you could sit back and be like, oh, I really wish I was I wish I was dancing up there with that girl. She looks like she's having so much fun. She looks like she's so much fun. I'd love to be her friend. Like, go dance with her. And then friendship form out of it. And if it's just like a surface level friendship where you're just dancing, then that's still nice enough the way it is, but it might turn into a better friendship because you start talking to each other, you want to go hang out more and everything. So that's just that aspect of like the meeting people, making friends. But wait, when it gets to the actual part that matters, the friendship part of it, I guess a little bit of this is following on that, but like it's so important to have friends that you could show your ugliness to, your dark side, your crying, your anxieties, where you're like, you sound delusional, you sound like you could hear yourself and you want to tell yourself to shut up, but your friends are just like, all right, like come on, I'm right, like I'm right here, I'm not going anywhere, I am still your friend, no matter how panicked you might be, no matter how sad you might be, no matter any of that. And then when you're able to share things that you don't even want to be true at all, like things that have happened or whatever, and you're able to share with your friends, it's, my God, it is so healing. Like, I don't even know if I could express, like, I have to give a shout out to you, LaBelle, right now. Like, you have been the best friend to me over this year, and like especially this summer, I do not know how I would have gotten through. And Leo too, you're like, yeah, we're your friend, like that, just basically, and a lot of times you can't see things clearly when you're going through stuff, so it is really good to have those friends to talk to, but it's also good when those friends have different strengths or different perspectives, because then you get to kind of get those different perspectives too. But I mean, and then even when there's no bullshit that you're going through and everybody's good and you're celebrating the way that you could build each other up when you're already at a good level, and then building each other up more from that, like the fucking sky is the limit. That support is everything.
A follow-up comment, basically, that I very much see what Terry's saying about when you find people that you have something in common with, like for Terry, it was sports through school and high school and stuff. For me, I found, actually as an adult, people who are interested in the same geeky stuff as I am. I'm in like an organization for people who love the same kind of fantasy geekery. And then found Twitch and found my people, my clan, whatever you call it, there. And yeah, geeky friends are awesome friends, to put it that way.
Yeah, that's fantastic. I love that. So I have a short story to tell, and then I'm going to ask you. So I'm telling you what I'm going to ask you after this is, who is your best friend and what did they mean to you? Okay. Do you have a best friend? It is basically the next question I'm going to say after I give my story. So I played football in high school. I went out for the team just to learn about football because I liked football. I am not the most athletic person in the world. I am relatively short or whatnot. However, I joined a good team because I knew where the state championships were going to be held that year. And it was at the college football stadium that I loved. So I decided to join the team solely for the fact that maybe if we go to the state championship, I could run out of the tunnel at this one stadium. That was the whole reason I did it. We had a game and they put in our backup quarterback. He fumbled 3 snaps in a row. We were up 41-7. He fumbled 3 snaps in a row and was demoralized. And so getting on the bus to go back home, no one would sit by him. I'm really glad I'm not in his spot, but I'll sit next to him. And I was like, hey, he said, well, you don't want to sit next to me. I suck. It's like, okay. Can you explain that to me? Why do you suck? And he goes, well, I fumbled 3 snaps in a row. I go, okay, well, you go to good school. You have a good family. Do you have any brothers and sisters? Yes, I'm Greek. I have 5. fast forward to now, he was one of the best men in my wedding and surprised me on my birthday a couple weeks ago. This stuff matters, guys. Like, people, it does. I mean, it really does. Because at his lowest point, someone with ADHD that didn't look like they could solve a fucking thing sat next to someone that they never knew and said, you look down, what can I do? That matters in life. So I would like to know who has had the most impact on your life that you could consider a close friend that you keep in contact with, and do you have that person?
I'm gonna be the cheesy one here, because love heals, and you different types of love. But the first person I really ever let my heart open to is my husband, and love heals.
Perfect. Short and sweet. Dorsey, you are so good at this. Mercedes.
Okay, I'm gonna try to be quick. So
Yeah.
remember I said I'm the friend that everyone comes to when they need help and advice or anything.
Right.
So I realized who my best friend was when my dad passed away. From all of my friends, I had a big group because I was very social. From all of them, only 2 of them came. Only 2 of them were there for me. And well, one of them, who is actually my best friend, I think she's my best friend because she knows my dark side. She understands it, and she never judges me if I ghost her, if I send her too many messages. And she doesn't have ADHD, but she understands me, and she doesn't judge me for who I am. So that's what I think, why I believe she's my best friend, and she's an amazing person.
That's awesome. That's awesome that you have that. Not a lot of people have that. Like, it's incredible. Kirk, can we transfer over to you?
Yeah, absolutely. This was hard.
Yeah, this is a hard thing to talk about. It really is. Like,
well, I think I've had a lot of really, really great people be my friend that I didn't expect to be. But I've talked about my best friend before. We grew up together. We've been friends since we were itty bitty. But I think we very much leaned on each other's strengths for a really long time. He's like my brain, and I'm like his voice.
it's awesome. That's so
He's
awesome.
quiet, but he's a genius. And he always told me he appreciated me because I was smart enough to keep up and have those conversations with him. I'm not as smart as him. I'm never going to pretend like I am. But I think I was the most outgoing person in my friendship group. I was sort of like the front-facing nerd. I was the nerd who played sports. I was like, so if anybody had to stand up for any of those guys, like it's my job. You're the big guy with the big mouth. So like, that's on you, dude. Like, that's who I had to be.
I get that entirely.
And to find someone who was the opposite side of that coin and who's still very much in my life, I'm pretty lucky. So he's definitely
awesome.
He's definitely number one.
That is so great. Ross.
It's actually isn't that hard.
That's good,
because I don't have big circles at all, and this is a friend from high school. So, and we're the complete opposite, and we've fallen out along the way because of the way I am versus the way he is. He, for a long time, he was like, you can't just go and do that because you think you can do it. And I'm like, yeah, I can. Watch. And
this is why we love you, Ross.
He's like, you can't just go and make this thing and just do it. And I'm like, I can. Watch. And he's like, oh, yeah. But our pastor's like, he's pulled me out of a ditch from when I crashed my car. I pulled him out of a ditch when he crashed his car. We both went for lunch after both occasions, and we were always there. It's like the best situation. That. And nowadays, I mean, we were young in our teens at the time, and like like nowadays, I think the best way I can put it is that he is so risk averse. He had bought his first house when he was 18.
Jesus.
Yeah, he was very. I still haven't, so don't worry about it. It's fine. And it's just like he is so like measured, and I think I've brought out more risk. Like he started his own company this year, and he calls me now to ask me for advice on things like that. He calls me to say, "What do you think about this? What do you think about this? Am I doing the right thing?" And most of the time, I'm just like, "Look, you've got to think about this." I fucking know, it's fine, but don't worry about it. But like, it's more the fact that he is so risk averse that he can't think like that, and so he calls on me when it comes to thinking about things in a different way. And when I need reining in, which is pretty much most days, I speak to him and he just goes, "Is that a good idea?" And I'm like, "It's not a good idea, Sam, but I'm probably going to do it anyway." And so for me,
it's comfortable.
We balance each other, and we've caused a lot of friction along the way. But at the same time, the phone goes, and I'm there. I'll jump on the plane, and I'll be there. 100%.
Absolutely.
And he's the same, 100%.
God, I love that so much. Blushing, let's go to you. Because I feel like I really, God, I'm sorry. Is blushing not the best ever, people? Like, honestly, like, just, sorry, I had to throw that out there. What do you think?
I can't pick one person.
Exactly.
Because I'm very, very, very blessed to have a small handful of very, very good close friends. And the qualities I think are very similar with those friendships. It is like someone was saying, the dark sides of us, the things that are going to be tiring to handle and sometimes too much. Yes, because I am hyperactive, and I do talk a lot, and sometimes I'll write big paragraphs. I've learned to cut them into smaller pieces and all that, but they're big, but people who are of that small group of really close friends all know how to handle it. They can handle me as just being me, and I can handle that from them. So I would say that's I can't pick one. I can pick a very few.
I agree with you.
Actually, I will say that there's representation of ADHD people in there, and there's also neurotypical / almost neurotypical people in there. So it's not like all ADHD kind of camp, right?
You have an eclectic group.
Oh yeah, and my bigger circle, because I do have other friends that are very meaningful to me, friendships. Right. But you can't all have them in the inner circle, like the less than 10 people circle.
Right. Less than 10. I resonate with that too. Terry, do you have?
I'm going to choose to talk about one of my best friends that it has only been 1 year since we've known each other, and we were instant best friends and talk every single day. We met at a work convention thing, and we just instantly, the first night, because we're both like, when are they gonna let us get some wine around here? So then we just start talking, and then we're the ones that's like, you know what, everybody, let's go out. Let's go do something, instead of just going back to the hotel rooms and dancing in a dive bar, getting everybody to go do karaoke. Who cares if this is a work thing? Just having fun. But then also being able to talk about our ambitions and the things that are important to us when it comes in the work world and everything like that. So we got very close very fast. Even she invited me to her wedding that was a couple of months away from the day that we met. So I drove 4 hours to her for her bridal shower and her wedding. And she's neurotypical. but man, oh man, she's got ADHD people in her life. She was just saying something about that yesterday. She's like, you're one of my 3. And
Jesus.
so she understands exactly how to communicate with us and motivate us.
Hair.
Because there will be times where I'm like, without me having to say, but like, she'll be like, okay, you just need to like vent and get it out. Like, I'm not going to try and sway you one way or another on anything. And then there are times where she's like, okay, so I have to give her a shout out. She's my bestie, and I don't know.
Excellent.
She's
I love
just
it.
the best.
I love it. Leo, bring us home, and then we will do 2 minutes apiece of what we are most proud of, and then have a good Friday night.
All right. I do
Yeah,
have
please.
a really great friend from high school, and so it's kind of funny, like looking back. He was actually just recently diagnosed with ADHD too. Not that that's a surprise at all.
He needs to be on the podcast. So just
we could actually. So yeah, it's funny because like he moved away. Like he's out of state. But I'll actually be hanging out with him tomorrow. I think.
Excellent.
Because his mom is throwing a baby shower for his wife, and so we're getting together and drinking beer. And so that's but yeah, like kind of looking back, like so we met at like a band party before freshman year, and so he had moved in from like a different school, and the first time we met, we bonded over wrestling and our love of Metallica. And so it involved a wrestling match, and it was just delightfully weird and awkward. And we carried that on. And yeah, the one thing I can say, like, we're not always the great at like texting each other on the regular, or it'll be like we'll text like a few messages and then like not for a month. But then anytime we get together, it's like no time elapsed at all, which I think is the best thing about ADHD friendship, because it is like it doesn't matter how long you go between times, it just picks up exactly where it left off.
It's the best thing about any friendship, not just ADHD. That right there is the.
I feel like it's more
that's
ADHD
the definition
friendship
of
because
friendship, though.
But the
you
ADHD
pick up
time
where you-
blindness really, I think, weighs into the fact that like
because we feel guilty when we haven't reached out or whatever, but then when we get back together, it's the same thing. Over you have something special there, Leo, because that is the definition to me.
Yeah, I think that
Yeah,
is really
great.
like but what is the like the most remarkable part, because it's just like nothing ever changes, and it's like we're telling the same stories or variations or just weird shit that we've done, and it's always a good time, and that's something that yeah, it's like I wish it would happen more often at times, but it is hard when you live across the country and whatever, but yeah, that's
Good for you.
It's fun.
Good for you. Okay, so before we close it out, Mercedes, what are you most proud of?
I don't know. I mean, but I can think of something that happened this week.
Absolutely.
It's not the thing that I'm the most proud of, but it's something I remember. So that's
what a great response. That's the greatest response ever.
No, and I actually wanted to ask you, but now we're running out of time, but I wanted to ask you, did you guys learn this week? So this week I learned something amazing, and that is, for me, it's really hard as an older woman to make new friends. And I found that through the internet, you can get to meet people who are like-minded, and that's amazing. And so lately I found out that there's a whole community on Twitch that they do like co-working streams, and I didn't know about that. You guys, if you have problems, of course, focusing, getting there, it's amazing. I see that blushing is going like this, and yes, it really helps.
Can someone put Shannon's thing in the thing for Mercedes? Shannon, does that,
it's
and she's
such
phenomenal.
A beautiful community, you guys. And I met this guy, and he's from Spain. We were talking. I was being honest about my ADHD because I don't tell about that to people that don't have ADHD. I mean, I don't talk much about it. And we were talking about copywriting because he's a copywriter too. And I actually landed a very big client just by becoming friends with this guy who's amazing. And I told him about my ADHD and he was like, yeah, oh my God. Well, that means that you might be a very good copywriter. And I was like, wow, all of this time I was not saying I have ADHD because maybe I lose a client because of that. And then, you know, all of a sudden I realized that lands me the biggest client I've ever had so far. So what I learned this week is don't network, make friends. But yeah, I mean, I'm
Smart.
very much into business and all that stuff because I don't know, I like that. But
Mercedes, you're going to help me out with
the Twitch
copywriting
community.
issues. You're going to help me
Okay.
out. You're going to help me out because I am so copyright terrible. Terry, what are you most proud of?
So Dorsey is my ADHD coach now.
Oh,
And we
yes.
had,
Yes. Fuck, I'm done. I'm done. I'm leaving.
so her brilliance, expertise,
Yeah.
resources,
Knowledge.
all of that. All of that is
Too
helping me
much
get my shit together.
and just enough.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love that.
But so the assignments I've been working on this week were about like needs and values, and
Dorsey is coaching you ADHD wise. There couldn't be a better one. I love it. Oh my God.
and I love
that
this
right
stuff.
there
I mean,
makes me so pumped up. I can't even tell you. Like that is the purpose for this. Like
right,
connecting people
it's
that can.
awesome.
Yes. God.
I love it.
Ross, what are you most proud of?
I don't know if it's kind of a mix, right? So it's a mix between Mercedes' point of what I learned this week and what I'm proud of, because it comes in together at the same time. Because I'm lucky in the fact that I hate having a corporate job because I hate the corporate life. You can just read my Twitter and you can see how much I fucking hate corporate life. It pays my bills and it pays me very well, so I can't. Anyway. But one of the benefits of it is the fact that it has a counselling service, and I was recommended them by another person who had ADHD, and the counsellor equally has ADHD. So it's like the best, most dysfunctional situation ever, but it helps me massively to understand certain things. And one of the things I went with today, this week, a couple of days ago, was like as you know, there's that huge imbalance of either always on or just not. And when you're not, it's just really bad. And it's like the barometer of trying to find that middle. And when I'm on, I'm really focused at the moment. I know where I want to be. I'm super focused, but it means my mind's working at like 1,000 miles an hour. And it's like 1,000 miles an hour I can't stop. Like I can't sleep, anything. Like I'm just going constantly, and it's just creative mentalness. And I just can't slow it down. And I went to them and I was like, how can I manage this? And he said, have you ever managed to manage it? And I went, no, like, of course I haven't. That's why I'm asking you this question. And he said, well, how about instead of fighting it, you know that this is the way you are, so don't fight it. So instead of fighting it, embrace the fact that you're always going to be running at 1,000 miles an hour. When you're in this situation, he said, we've done a load of stuff to stop you going the other way, like to make sure that every time you go that way, you quickly come back. But you know that when you're at this way, you're always going to be at 1,000 miles an hour. So what you've got to do is, because we use the like engine analogy, you're always going to be driving at 1,000 miles an hour. It's like, just make sure you can take some pit stops along the way. So find something to give yourself a mental break along the way. So instead, embrace the fact that when you are driving, you are 1,000 miles an hour. But you can't always be going 1,000 miles an hour, because guess what? No, you can't sustain that, because you can't. It's mental and it's really hard. But you need to find a way to break that up. So
100%.
That's a massive part of what I've learned. But at the same time, all of this has been a part of embracing the me. So one of the things I'm super proud of is the fact that I'm super open with my work and things like that, and the way I am. Like I'm just say that I can't do these things. This is not me, and I am completely 100% proud of myself in the last year that I've just turned around, and instead of just trying to do something that doesn't fit with who I am, I just turn around and I'm like, this isn't me. But this is me. And I had a huge conversation with our head of product management yesterday, and I explained my entire life. Obviously, I overshared like shitloads, and and in fact, our entire hour meeting was 45 minutes of me just talking at him about my life, which is great. But I said, I know what I'm good at, and if you want to utilize me in the best way, put me in places like this, and don't make me do that. And he was like, I'm 100% with you. He was like, I'm so glad you shared that, and I can't wait to use you in the best way. But I haven't ever done that before. Never,
Don't lose
never
that person.
Career.
Don't lose that person.
But it's the first time I've ever managed to feel confident in being able to be that person.
That's fantastic. You know? I love that. Thank you, Ross. Kirk, what do we got
this week? Let's see. What am I proud of? Because I've been traveling. I was traveling. Like I took more time off work than normal. Came back, super busy. We have a bunch of new people at work, but they've been active, and I was worried I wasn't going to do well. Blah 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 blah. I like my job. I feel like I'm good at my job most of my time. And my boss's boss showed up to visit, and he's, saw me. Hey, you're doing a great job this month. And I was like, oh, I'm actually working towards this other goal that was much higher. And he kind of was like, I've never seen anyone do that before. And I was like, what do you mean? He's like, well, no one's like, there's this goal that they sort of have that's like on paper. But he's like, yeah, no one's actually done that. And I was like, what do you mean no one's ever done that? He's like, well, that's about to change. And that was like,
love that.
And then he said something else. Oh, hey, there's this weird incentive for me, and I'd really like if I could get 9 of this thing. And I was like, okay, so we got to get 9. He's like, no, like you only need to get 3 as an entire, where your branch only needs 3. And I was like, how long do you have to do this? It's like a week. I was like, okay, what if I get 9 by myself? I was like, I'll just get 9. He's like, if you get 9, if you get 9, I'll pay you my entire bonus. And I said, oh, okay, sure. And then he saw me and was like, oh no, he's serious. Like he realized that, like he offered me his bonus, and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And 10 minutes later, I was like, 1 down, 8 to go. Just, and he's like, wait, for real?
So you had 16 by the end of the
he might owe me his bonus by the end of the month. But like that's
exactly.
Just putting myself in a position to succeed, despite running around like a crazy person all month. Because I worked hard before I left, and I've worked hard when I got back. Like I've created some consistency for myself. Like just keeping the one thing that I need, baseline to survive, that being my job, in a really, really, really good spot, no matter what the rest of me is doing, felt good.
I love it. I love it. Blushing, what are you most proud of?
I have been in the process, as many of you know, some of you may not know, that to start ADHD medication. It has been 26 days. We're starting day 27.
No way.
And I talked to the psychiatrist tonight, and I was able to track my effects, no side effects so far, like by date, and write it down in a book. I'm proud of that. And what I'm very happy about is that the fact that I did that and could very clearly tell the psychiatrist on the phone today what had happened and not happened and such, that he's basically upping my dose from the dose I'm on now to the expected adult dose that he thought that I would be on from Monday, literally in 2 days from now. And then if I need more, I already asked him about that. So I remembered to ask him about it. So I'm proud of that too.
Love it.
That what happens if that's not enough, if it doesn't last all day, for instance. Oh, and I got a response for that as well. And we have a plan.
Love it.
That's awesome.
That is just
Oh, and I remembered to get cleared for driving.
No shit.
You have to over here. You have to get cleared for driving by the doctor or a psychiatrist. And
if you have ADHD,
medication.
Okay,
This is a red
got it,
triangle
okay,
medication.
got it,
You
got it,
have
got
to
it.
ask. But yeah, I remember to ask
is
as well. So there's
unbelievable.
multiple things.
Wow. Look at Blushing's confidence right now. I love this. We're gonna. Oh my god, I have so many highlight videos to make. Leo, what are you most proud of?
Oh, let's see. Something that I've worked on embracing is letting myself relax just a little bit more, and like not pushing myself. Like over the weekend, didn't get as many things done on like the side projects and everything as I was hoping to, and that I normally try to get done. And I just let that go. And it kind of just taking a longer view of things. It's like every little bit is good, but I'm not racing to get things done, and so yeah, just like being able to kind of
enjoy life,
be a little more free flowing with it, and just like, yeah, it'll get there. Like there's absolutely no rush. Like I'm not on anybody's time schedule. And so that's something that's good, because a lot of times I do put myself under a lot of pressure to just like, you've got to do this today, now. Like you do it now.
I have no idea what that feels like.
Yeah, no, none of us do, right?
Yeah.
Which is that's why it's like so astonishing. Like it's just it's uncommon, but yeah, just still working on it. I'm sure it'll kick back into gear, but before too long. But for now, I'm just going to enjoy it and see where it goes.
You're proud of relaxing, which is what not a lot of people with ADHD can do. And Dorsey, what are you most proud of?
So I am going to actually do something that I invite you all to do. I'm going to celebrate a piece of me. I am really proud of my animal empathy, because I love animals and they really connect with me, and I am proud of that piece of me.
That is awesome. So what I'm most proud of, 30 seconds. I am most proud of my ability to make friends and then bring friends together like this. I'm very proud of this, but I'm also very proud of the fact that I will never give up on anyone if I think they have a good heart. And I think that is what friendship actually is if you know that someone has a good heart, don't fucking give up on them ever. And just in my opinion, and I know that it takes a lot of work or whatever, but the thing is, what else are you working on? What else are you working on? I turned to friendship. That was my coping strategy. And then I realized that this isn't a coping strategy. This is what fucking works, is having close people that support you every day. So anyways, I am most proud of having a very large number of close friends that I could call in a split second and they would be here. If you have that and you invest time in the relationships that you have, you can't fail, because they won't let you. Quote Leo Guinan. And I'm honored by all of this. Drink beers, we're having a good time. We're all good. I feel like I may have been a mentor to him, maybe a bad mentor. Was I a good mentor or a bad mentor?
Changed my life. We'll say that.
Changed
my life.
Okay, that works. But we're just hanging out in the middle of the country with a video board in the background. But we are still going to talk about Mark's journey with ADHD. So I ask one question and one question only. It's not an easy question. Mark, what is your ADHD story? You are free to tell this however the fuck you want to tell it. The good things, the bad things, everything in between.
So yeah, ADHD is the best and worst thing that's ever happened to me. It definitely started out very unmedicated in high school, and it was always kind of a joke. You can't focus on anything for like 2 seconds, which made sense. And then once I got to college, really realized that high school is like a cakewalk.
So like, did you do well in high school?
Well, it was very structured.
Gotcha. So you might be one of those ADHD people that needs structure but hates it.
Oh, I hate it. Yeah, for
Right,
sure.
exactly.
It was very repetitive, and it was the same time every day since I was in kindergarten. So it was, I was able to get through it. I sucked at homework, and they're like, oh, he's not somebody that tests well.
No, I got that same fucking shit.
But yeah, I got through it. I never applied to a big university. I graduated from one eventually, but all my classmates were, you gotta get over 4.0, which I didn't even know was possible.
How is that possible?
AP classes. So you
can get like a 4.2 or a 4.
Yes, so the major, yeah. So where I graduated from, you couldn't get into.
Hey, Espen. This is Espen, everybody.
So, I lost my train of thought.
That's exactly why we're doing this.
I just hit 30. It hadn't kicked in yet. I can't focus. I get it.
I love it. So, high school, we were talking about GPAs.
So, the university I eventually graduated from would, it was kind of, if you had below a 4.0, you had to do really good on essay, SAT, or what was the other one?
ACT.
ACT.
I got a 9. A 9.
I did better on my ACT than my SAT. If that means anything at all. But
it doesn't mean shit.
But so all my friends were stressing out about applying to colleges, universities, all that.
Yeah.
I just woke up one Sunday morning and I went online and went to the school's website, put in my information, hit submit, and it was dial-up, so it took a little bit, but finally came up and said, congratulations, you've been accepted. I was like, sweet, I got into college. So
literally, that's
it literally
really
it loaded.
I don't think you haven't told me that before.
I haven't?
No.
Oh.
I didn't know that's how you.
So I was like, cool, I got to college, and so I went and told my friends, like, oh, I'm in.
So when did you realize that this could be a problem? I guess
it wasn't. I just kind of figured out during high school, it was just like school sucked. I mean, it just kind of. I get that. I was on work release, so my junior and senior year, I was out at noon every day. I hated school. I didn't want anything to do with school.
Yeah.
I thrived a lot better on building stuff. I was always doing a million projects. Hindsight might mean something, but so I was always. I built a twin-engine go-kart in high school. I was doing this and that. And so now when the work release, I got out of school as quick as I could. I didn't enjoy it because it was almost too structured.
Yeah, that makes sense. The structure of it is...
Which I loved and I hated. I needed it.
Yeah.
But I really didn't like it, especially unmedicated.
Yeah.
Was really a struggle for me. I thought I'd do well in classes, but then I didn't do great on the tests. So my GPA wasn't, I figured math, for some reason, I was really, really good at, but I hated.
Okay, so that's interesting because half the people I speak with are great at math and hate it, and half the people suck at math and love it and end up going into math after they get done with the classes because it's dictated to them how they do it.
Which I haven't done, I probably would do really well in a mathematics environment had I been medicated earlier, because it's just then I was really, really good at it, but at the same time it's I didn't want to do it the rest of my life. So I went into college. When I went to college, I was mechanical engineering. So
that's right. You have told me that before. It was mechanical engineering.
Yes, so I was mechanical engineering. I actually had an offer when I was in high school. I actually had 2 offers my senior year, so I was really big into wakeboarding. So I would wakeboard in the summer times, I would wake up at 6 a.m. As the sun's coming up, we'd be idling out of the cove, filling up ballast in the boat. We'd wakeboard for about 45 minutes, and then our friends would be waking up from being hungover or whatever the hell they were doing.
Yeah.
Because me and him didn't drink at all in high school. Making up for it now, but
we're different in that regard. But
yeah. So I was saying, we were like, all right, well, we would make money, and then we actually just dump it right in the gas tank of the damn boat. But
you were able to wakeboard.
So I got really good at that. But also, I destroyed my entire body doing it. My lower back is shot. My knees are shot.
From wakeboarding?
Yeah, my knees in high school used to dislocate themselves like 3 or 4 times a week.
I did not do that either.
So,
but just to let y'all know, when he says he likes to wakeboard, he's one of those people that does the flips and everything like that. The guy's a straight up badass at wakeboarding, but
it used to be.
It used to be, yeah, exactly.
So I was getting really, really, really good. That's the tangent we were off on.
Yeah.
Is
we're gonna
when I was graduating high school. So basically, I did a shit ton of wakeboarding in high school. We lived on a lake. I wakeboarded twice a day, every day. For basically 9 months out of the year, I would wakeboard twice a day, every day. And I went through. Advil should be my sponsor because I went through. I went through actually 4 doctors. No lie, I went through 4 doctors in high school, and because my knees would literally dislocate themselves multiple times a week.
Like they would catch.
Yeah, so,
land?
so,
like,
if I was down tying my shoe,
how does that work?
If I was down tying my shoe,
Yeah.
if I didn't think about standing up, they would pop out of place, and I just basically fall to the ground and had to like twist and pull on my leg to extend it.
Fuck that,
and it would pop
man.
back into place.
Fuck that.
My 4th doctor finally said, here's some anti-inflammatories. I know you're not going to stop wakeboarding. At least do this. Take these before you go out wakeboarding so you don't destroy yourself.
Yeah.
So he actually got me there. He didn't get me on the ADHD part, but
right.
But basically, so with all that, so when I was in my senior year of high school, I got 2 offers. I got one. So I got one of the it was either Hyperlight or Liquid Force. Basically, was saying we want you to go semi-pro with us because I was, I could do all the flips.
Awesome.
I could do all. The,
yeah.
I got really, really good at wakeboarding. Besides pointing, but I knew that it was to destroy my body. And I had like 2 years left in me before I had I had torn meniscus, I hadn't torn my ACL yet.
This is all from wakeboarding?
Yeah, I had 2 torn meniscuses on wakeboarding. So
you fucked your body bad.
Yeah, my knees are shot.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I hate my knees.
You've said that forever. I do remember that.
So I knew that wasn't going to be a thing. And then I knew somebody that worked at Nautique. It was a family friend that said, you get me, if you graduate from this particular university with a mechanical engineering degree, I'll give you a 6-figure job starting.
Okay.
And so naturally, I was like, I like building shit and I love wakeboarding. And they're like, yeah, our day consists, our week consists of 2 days in the office, designing stuff, and 3 days testing. I was like, done. I was like, I can do that. And then I was like,
right up your alley.
So I went through my first year building towards that, all my core classes. So I knew the reason I didn't apply to the university off the bat was, 1, I had the GPA, 2,
right.
My diploma was exactly the same as somebody.
Gotcha.
So I do. It's basically you do that 2 years and you transfer in.
Got it.
To the university, and your diploma looks the exact same.
Right.
So I wanted the easier route.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah.
So I did all my core classes at the community college. Even my first year, it was a big struggle. Especially, it was a break from my normal schedule.
Right. Someone told me, and I don't know if you relate to this or not, but college is difficult for people with ADHD because you go from that structure to all of a sudden you have to create your own structure with absolutely no idea how to fucking do it. And that's because you're not taught that, right? Like, you're not taught how to create a structure for yourself that'll work.
And online classes, don't do online classes if you're ADHD. I know
well, they work for some.
There's a pandemic, which we'll talk about later. But
yeah, oh God, will we ever?
Which is a big thing for kids growing up now. I know is a big issue, but yeah, my thought is having that structure. With the structure with unmedicated, I was able to do.
Right.
But once I struggled really bad during in community college, and then I was like, everybody's always said, "Oh, you're really ADHD," you know. They always joked bullshit. About it. Yeah, they always joked about it. In high school, I'm like, I really think I am. And then I met Lobau, and he was even way more ADHD than me.
Thank you.
I need to get him a shirt, by the way.
I love that shirt.
It's lighting up really nice. So he was, he was really, like, I'd met him when he was kind of not on his medication a lot, and he was just kind of all over the place.
No, I was on the medication. It was that it wasn't a high enough dose.
But then I'd also see, because he lived in the apartment underneath me, so sometimes I'd meet him and he'd just be all over the place, and sometimes I'd meet him and he'd be able to, like, have a straight conversation with me, and we would just have a conversation. So when I found out he was really, I was like, all right, well, I'm kind of all over the place. How do you actually have a conversation? And he's like, well, I'm medicated. I'm like, all right, well, let me talk to my doctor and see, is this something I have? I'm not going to self-diagnose.
Right.
I'm not going to have somebody else diagnose me, but I'm going to, let me talk to my doctor. And at first, they put me on, they had me go see a psychiatrist.
Well, right, because psychiatrists can prescribe medication where psychologists can't. So if you go to a psychologist, they might be able to say, okay, I think you might have this, but they have to refer you to a psychiatrist because
they're different?
No, it's way different.
Oh.
And so
psychiatrists, one of the two
yeah.
gave me, but they didn't want to put me on anything strong. They put me on Strattera. So it is a non-narcotic.
It's a non-stimulant, right?
Non-stimulant.
Yeah.
Which helped, but I had to be a very strict schedule. I did it for like 2 months. The breaking point for me was, like, I had to take it after food, but shortly after food. I accidentally took it before food, and I got really tired and I got knocked out. I almost overslept the test, and I felt like absolute garbage. And I was like, all right, it had to be real, like, for me at least, had to be a super strict schedule. I went and flushed all mine down the drain.
Did you really do that?
Oh, I seriously, I flushed it, like,
I
in
didn't
the
know
toilet.
that either.
I flushed it, and I actually went to a new doctor, told him my story. He's like, you shouldn't have been on, he's like, having a conversation with you, you should not have been on that non-stimulant. You need to be on a stimulant. And he's like, there's these, you could either go, your Adderall or your
Ritalin.
And I was like, I've heard horror stories about Ritalin. So,
but Ritalin never worked for me,
and I've also heard that Ritalin's worked really well.
Yeah, no, it has. But for me, like, it wasn't. But I'm lucky, so lucky in the fact that I got diagnosed at like 5. So I had all this time to get this right. And that's what ultimately mattered the most, is being like, hey, okay, this didn't work, I'm trying this. This didn't work, I'm trying this. This didn't work, whatever. But so many people don't get that opportunity because the whole world shits on them for being hyper.
Yes.
And it's just not the case. Like, By the way, this is nothing different than Mark and I would be doing like on a random night. It's just that.
Well, he likes to show up like Wednesdays, and we'll just he'll get off work and he's just like, you know, he'll pick up wood here or whatever, and we'll get randomly hammered on a Wednesday, and and also college buddies randomly show up the same day.
Yes.
When country was
So
here.
it's funny though, because like you liked wakeboarding, so you went at it so hard that you busted your knees and your back and everything. But that's what ADHD does. We cannot go at something half-assed. If we like it, it is 1,000,000,000% what we're going to do.
Yep.
Like no matter what effect it has.
Oh yeah.
Like that's so stereotypical.
There's somebody that was better than me. I was like, oh, I just gotta do it more, and then I had to get better than them.
Right.
So I gotta one up them. But he was saying, he's like, all right, well, let me get you on stimulant, and that changed my world. It changed everything. I was able to.
That's awesome.
You know, it only took 3 or 4 months to level out my dosage.
Really? So you've had the same like dosage for?
I'm a little higher now.
Right.
But when I started, you know, he only gave me 1 month prescription. He said, you know, do this.
Try it and see. Yeah.
Do this. I think he had me on 30 milligrams a day. So he had me on 10s. I think I was doing like 10 milligrams in the morning.
Right.
And then I did a lot of microdoses almost.
Right.
But
exactly.
And then it ended up leveling out at 40 a day.
Gotcha.
So basically 10 milligrams a day.
Okay.
And I'd normally start off with like a 20 in the morning, and then just do half pills, get me through the day. My grades shot up. I was able to get shit done. And it was
like start to finish done, like as in you start a project and then you finish it.
Yes. I have bigger projects now.
Well, yeah, that's it. But
we'll get to that later on.
Yeah,
But,
exactly.
yeah, so it was just like a wow, because I was still trying to wrap my head around, like, I actually am ADHD, and it's like, why was I not diagnosed earlier? Because up in the Bible Belt in Georgia, it was an issue.
Right. See, and that's the problem. That is why we're doing this right now. It's because that is what everyone has told me. Yeah. Why didn't someone tell me earlier? Why didn't someone point it out?
Because growing up, that was you'd be labeled as someone with an issue.
Right.
And it can it was like a bad thing. I was like, no, it's I would have done. Shoot, I probably would have had that nerd GPA.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I was really good at it, but I just didn't really have the patience or attention span to really dial in on it.
Right, and sometimes you need medication, and that's not a problem. Like goddamn, if you break your leg, do you put a cast on it? Like, is that okay?
No, you're supposed to just limp on it.
Right, and just make it. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Sorry, I get really passionate about this because I've been told to my whole life. Life, how dumb I am, and I am not dumb. And that is, yeah, exactly. So
that's the thing. It was confusing at first because it was a huge sigh of relief, but it was just like, why did it take this long to get medicated and to get this issue fixed? Well, I would say issue, more condition.
Right.
Why, I wanted, now that I was told my entire life, you're like ADHD as hell, but never actually got it addressed.
Right.
And then once I finally got that addressed, and it was great.
So ADHD, the issue with it is your brain knows what to do, but it can't do it. everyone else's brain, there is a connection between these two things. You know what to do, and you do it. ADHD doesn't have that. How do we build that bridge? That is with medication. That is with strategies that work for us. But the best part about that is if we build it ourselves, we don't take it for granted. Because we did the work to get to the other side. But when it's not addressed, like you were saying, like if it's not addressed and it's not believed in, we are standing on this side, knowing what to do, and then seeing the other side, but we can't get there. Like we can't, where's the bridge? Help me.
Yes, but one thing I will say is, and also later on in life, I did actually get off of medication for about 11 months.
Right.
So when I was doing the construction stuff, but again, it was back to a structured thing. So when I got off the medication, so when I was saying ADHD is the best and worst things that ever happened to me,
right?
Really, it's almost more so the medication.
Yeah.
I really think it's the medication that was the best and worst things that ever happened to me, because when I was off the medication, I could function at 80%.
Right.
75%, we'll say.
You could 75% without it.
Not at first.
Okay.
But when I had that structured environment,
yeah.
I was at my 75%.
Right.
I knew what I could do on the medication. So like, I wouldn't say, I wasn't dependent on it, but I knew I could do better medicated. Because and especially nowadays with the shortages, I would love to not be on the medication, but it's hard because I know I could be my normal self and
100%.
thrive a lot better on my dialed in medication dosages.
Well, you feel better. I mean, what person doesn't want to put their best foot forward every single day?
Well,
like you feel better.
No, I do better. So feel better. I could be on all sorts of random drugs. I could be on some random drugs and feel better.
Right, but for me, if I don't feel good, if my brain is not engaged,
I feel right.
I can't.
Not good.
Alcohol
that's
the
makes me feel good.
Well, see,
so alcohol makes me feel good, but I don't want to be
drinking 24 hours a day. Yes. Yeah. So for me, it's I have to feel good first. Must, like 100%. I have to wake up and feel not normal, but I feel like myself. As in, I'm going to be spastic, and I am going to do all these things like crazy because it engages my brain. And if my brain is not engaged, I will do fucking nothing. And that is so going like with the pandemic and all that kind of stuff. Yes. That is, you might as well put me in a prison cell and torture me endlessly. Like I have to be engaged, which is why I think I relate to people so well. Is I just genuinely like people. Like that's like I like being around people because everyone's different in what works. And with ADHD, what works one day might not work the next.
I love people. I hate crowds.
You hate crowds.
I don't like a lot of people. I like a couple people.
Mindset by Dave. I know you're watching this. That's exactly you. So that is.
I hate New York City is my prison.
Oh yeah. Oh fuck yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
There's too much. I don't know if it's the lights. Too much stimulation.
Well, no. There's no this. There's no lake. There's no green.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. They have Central Park, but still, just traffic drives me insane. That's why I live in the sticks.
Yeah, Central Park.
It took more than one medication for me to find out what worked for me. And when it worked great. I felt like a normal person again. I never really felt normal and could function. Everybody's like, oh, why do you have like 5 things going on at one time and you can't finish a task?
Yeah.
All that stuff. But once I finally got medicated properly, the big thing is that one medication that really worked well for me, it made all the difference.
Game changer, basically, is what you're saying in your life. It's a game changer. My thing is, I think ADHD is way more severe than like people want to say that it is. I am not a doctor or psychiatrist, all of you know that, but I will say that I firmly believe ADHD is at the core of allowing a lot of other things to come in. And whether that be depression or bipolar or anything like that, I believe ADHD is at the root of why those other things are allowed to come in if it's not treated properly. Because if our brain does not have the ability to know what to do and do it in the same manner as everyone else, what kind of hell would that be? To be standing on one side, knowing what you can do on the other, seeing it, and not being able to do it. Of course you're going to be depressed.
Yeah.
Like, that's... So I think it's a massive issue. I also think it's the most powerful advantage you could ever have.
It's
And both. I literally believe it's the worst thing in the world and the best thing in the world.
That's why I was saying earlier.
Right, exactly. That's exactly everybody.
I don't know if it's the medication or the diagnosis of ADHD that is the best and worst things ever happened to me, because it really one, it makes me normal again, but also it sucks because if I don't have it, especially during these times where it's hard to get medication, there's Adderall shortages.
Yeah.
It recently took me 14 stores to find my medication. This past month, 14 stores to find medication.
Can you imagine if...
And it's not just like it's a feeling of defeat, and it's just helplessness, because everybody, like, I had pharmacists tell me you'd be better off telling your doctor to switch from medication to something else.
That's such a fucking cop-out. Like, you can't...
I was pissed because so I was doing great on Adderall.
Yeah, that's fine.
For a while, and then Strattera came out, and it was getting bigger, and they suggested, because we were changing medication dosage a little bit.
Right.
It wasn't lasting quite as long. Adderall extended release didn't really work for me. It didn't last that long.
Neither me. I couldn't do extended release.
So I had to. Actually, the breaking point was I was on 20 milligrams, so I was at 60 milligrams a day, but I was on 3 20s. So I would do a 20 in the morning, and I'd break at the 10s to do 4 times throughout the day. So it was just spaced out.
Right.
But it really, my wife would understand, like, all right, take it, soon enough. It wasn't lasting very long. So my doctor had said, hey, we do have Strattera. Or not, Vyvanse.
Vyvanse. Oh, man.
They had Vyvanse come out. And so they're like, all right, well, it sounded great. They're like, we could do Vyvanse in the morning, and then we would give you some 10 milligram Adderalls to, if it didn't last all day, you could have almost like a booster, just to get you through the rest of the day. I have existing issues, like, I don't know how it happened, but I did not have tinnitus, like the ringing in my ears, until that medication.
Yeah.
And now
so
I
wait,
can't.
You have ringing in your ears too?
Nonstop.
Shut up. Dude, I have the exact same thing. Like,
and people don't get it. I'm like,
it freaks me the fuck out.
I've gotten numb
but
to it.
But now that I've toned it, right? Exactly. You get used to it.
But I sometimes I can't go to sleep on my side of my head, because if I have something against it,
That's exactly
it
right.
amplifies it.
Absolutely.
Yes.
That. Oh my gosh, that is so.
So that didn't start until again. I'm not a doctor. I can't blame it on that.
Right. No, it's
but
not that.
Again, and it just, I didn't feel right.
Yeah.
So when I was on Adderall, I felt normal. I started to feel not normal. I was like, all right, well, I know it's a change of medication. I did it for 6 months, and every month got worse.
Every month got worse?
Every month got worse for me. Just more, the first time is like, all right, it lasted most of the day. felt a little different, but I was like, all right, different medication, whatever.
Yeah.
But it just started getting, I felt not myself. I was edgy.
Is it like anxious, like anxiety, like, or was it just like
anxiety, but like short fuse.
Okay, so it makes you mad.
But I'm not a mad person.
No. And by the way, he's not. I am. He is not.
Yeah.
They call me angry little man.
How many times have you seen me like mad?
Twice.
Yes. So
in 12 years, whatever,
So I normally don't give a shit enough about to get mad.
Right.
I'm like, all right, well, yeah, you just piss me off. I don't care. But I was getting edgy and I was saying it was affecting my relationships. That's when I told my doctor, I said, no, get me back on Adderall. And I felt instantly back. So with the medication shortage, I've had pharmacists tell me, you should talk to your doctor, just have them switch you different medication. And I went off on one pharmacist. That was the second one that told me. I was like, you don't understand.
Right.
It's not just
switching
to a medication.
Yeah, exactly.
You know how long it takes to dial in a dosage and
Years.
the correct
Years.
medication? I was like, and so that was probably store number 5 or 6. And so what I did, I said, no, I had electronic prescriptions. So I got a doctor to print me out one. And I went store to store in 4 different cities. And
that's unbelievable.
The store that actually had it, my 14th store.
You counted them.
Yes, I did.
I can see that.
I did. Because after store 3, I was just like, because I was researching and I was like, all right, there's a shortage. Well, some people say, oh, they had to go 6 or 7 stores. Like, well, let me see how many, 14 stores.
That's so wrong. That makes me so angry because think about the people, you were medicated when you went to those 14 stores, correct? You had enough left to push through and find it. Whereas, think about the person that had none.
Yes. What was really disheartening was, and it killed me when the pharmacist, I heard from a pharmacist saying, you should just talk to your doctor about switching medication. I was like, it doesn't
work like that.
It really doesn't.
That's not how it
you are
works.
a doctor in medicine. Medicine is your niche. I mean, that is what you do for a living. You should know that it's just not a.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's a lot of awareness that needs to be happening with ADHD.
That is why we're doing this.
And so what I want to say to anybody that is struggling the same way I was,
right?
I went to any local and basically within an hour radius. Some people think that if their store doesn't have it, nobody has it. That's why I want to.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
People need to understand
very good point.
That people get it from different suppliers.
Any last things on that, by the way?
Basically, just because your local, the place you've been going to doesn't have it, doesn't mean nowhere else has it. If your doctor has you on electronic prescriptions after COVID, that was a big thing. They could print you paper ones because if you call around, like I was trying to call places and they won't tell you if they have it or not because it's a narcotic.
Yeah, they can't.
And some places were saying, I can't tell you, but it would be a good idea for you to come here with your prescription.
Right.
So, really, just don't go and change your medication. Don't go. It's not going to be a long-term shortage. Don't go and do a life-altering event like changing medication if something works really well for you, just to get by for the next 2 months.
Yeah.
Shop around.
Yeah.
They have it. Somebody has it.
Somebody's got to have this shit. I mean, and we're not drug addicts. This is just like, I mean, that sounds like, oh, we got to get it. Well, no fucking shit. We have to get it. We have to get it.
And that's the bad thing about ADHD.
It's a prosthetic.
People almost like, oh, you're dependent. I'm like, no, yes and no. And
Are
you're
you
saying
dependent on the cast for your broken fucking leg
Yeah,
or
like-
your wheelchair?
Exactly.
If you're crippled, like
people like say, oh, and that's one of the things that I hate about having ADHD. It's like, oh, you have to have this to. I'm like,
I know.
I'm sorry that my brain doesn't work the way yours works.
Right,
like
and
that.
we don't apologize on here. What we say is my brain is different and fucking better than yours. That is, because honestly, what person that has been the same, that has the same brain waves as everybody else, and the same brain operating procedure, ever changed this world for the better?
Yeah.
Not a single person. So that's my opinion on that. You got to be a little bit fucking crazy to be successful. You have to. Like, the ultra most successful people in the world have a goddamn screw loose. So if your brain operates different, it's kind of a positive thing, but no one's gonna fucking tell you that but us. Not just me and him, but everybody.
It's plus and minus.
It is.
Yeah,
It's
blessing and a curse.
It's a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
I sharpen one side. I never pay any attention to the dull side. Because if I start to try and sharpen a dull blade, it might get to somewhat of a decent level. I don't want to be decent. Like, the things that I'm bad at, fuck those things. I sharpen the side that's already sharp so that I can cut through all the other fucking bullshit as hard as possible. My good qualities are really fucking good, and I want to make them even better.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to try to look at my awful qualities and raise them up to a somewhat level that doesn't really help. Like, because I think at the very end of the day, ADHD people are really, really bad at the things that don't ultimately matter, and really fucking phenomenal at things that do.
I think what ADHD people have the issue of is trying to be what society wants them to be.
Absolutely.
And so they try too hard on avoiding their condition, and it really hinders them on thriving on what they can be.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because
that's a great way to say that.
You know, I like to please anybody I'm around, and that's one of the things that was hard for me. You know, I almost
You're a people pleaser. That most people with ADHD are, because we're trying to overcompensate for, you know, the lack of normalcy.
Yes, and when I was first diagnosed, I didn't tell hardly anybody. I almost felt kind of ashamed.
Did you really not? I didn't know that.
And I just, at first, I was like, especially when I started with Shakira, it was just kind of a, you know, there's something wrong with me.
Right.
And it's almost like a obedience thing. Like, you know, you're just not self-disciplined enough. It's like, no.
That's what everyone sees.
Yeah.
Because all they see is when you're waiting for the correct environment or the medication or whatnot to work, to be able to work. All they see is you waiting to work. And that makes you, quote, lazy. The problem is that once you're able to work, whether it's strategy, whether it's medication, whatever, you will blow past those people so fucking fast. And that's my whole thing, is I do believe that this is an enhancement if we are given the proper tools that work for us as individuals. My tools are, I do need medication. I also need the freedom to operate the way I want to operate. But what I'm really good at is people. I can find people that are so much better than me and love the fact that they're better than me. Mark is one of these people. Okay, I nicknamed him Skills because he has way more than I do in terms of this job. But when we were working together, I had no doubts that he was going to get the fucking job done. Like, it was just handle it. I gave you complete freedom, but you cared so much about it that you created a structure yourself that then trickled down to the next person, to the next person, to the next person. But it takes an ADHD brain to figure out that, like, I'm bad at technology, but I'm fucking phenomenal with people, and I'm very good at putting people in a position to do well.
Yes. And that's, I found that I'm really good at one thing, which is I've learned I'm really good at this. I changed my major from a mechanical engineering. Well, I went over building construction for a little bit. So I had, I had been working for Loeb out here, and just, kind of a couple events a month, beer money. And then my dad was even, I talked to my dad about it, and he's like, you work in sports, you have an office in the stadium. You enjoy what you do. If you enjoy what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Yeah.
So I found something that I can literally focus on and enjoy
and care about.
And really care about.
But that's the ADHD side.
So that I changed my major.
Yeah.
I graduated. I was full-time as well. And it really wasn't working out. I had somebody telling me what I need to do and how I need to behave. So I actually quit my job on a whim and said I'm going to go freelance. I was like, I know I have the knowledge, and now I get paid a lot of money to do it freelance.
Yeah.
Because there are some individuals that know that I'm really, really, really good at what I do.
Yes, yeah. You're one of the best in the world. I hope you know that. Like, it's so. To put this in perspective, when he worked with us, he got hired away and sent all over the world to do these sporting events. And now he's married. He's got 2 great kids. Like, I rest my fucking case on this. Like, I am so close to being like, I rest my case. ADHD people will figure it out if they are given the motivation and the tools to say, fuck you. That is because how many times have I said, like, people will consider me an asshole. I'm so proud of that, because at the end of the day, this asshole has the
angry little
big
man.
Yeah, angry little man. At the end of the day, this asshole has the biggest fucking heart you have ever seen.
Yep.
And that I credit to my empathetic ADHD side of allowing me to care so much about something. Like, that matters. Like, in this world, that matters. You don't die with your degrees and your fucking how you did dishes well or you did this well or whatever. None of that fucking shit matters. What matters is how you relate to people and what you bring to this world that helps them. That is what matters. And I think I bring a fuck ton. I just want everyone else to know that they bring a fuck ton also, because right now they're getting shit on, and that's just not fair.
And also, a big thing is when I was unmedicated, I had just everything. Oh, this is what you're good at this. Like, this is the path you need to do, and I was kind of choosing the path of least resistance.
That's a good point. That's a really good point, actually.
Hard to say mechanical engineering is a path of least resistance,
Yeah.
but I knew I had expensive hobbies and all that. So, but math was something I'm good at. I hate doing math. I'm really good at it, but I hated doing it. But after I got properly medicated and realized my potential on doing like even very niche markets, that right now, like my dad said, if you love what you do, you never have to work a day in your life.
For me, I do disagree with that a little bit, only because I still feel like there are some
you
days.
still have a boss. I do too. She's in there. She's angry, probably.
Well, the never working a day in your life thing, I do agree with that at first. The problem is there's such a high burnout rate with ADHD people because we go at stuff so hard when we like it that we burn out. The problem is the people that are guiding the ADHD person need to be able to recognize when they are approaching burnout and say, take some time.
I have no strings attached. I fly out to wherever I'm going to.
Right.
I do I'm in Richmond. I'm in Richmond 2 days tomorrow. I fly there.
Essentially, you're a consultant.
I am.
That's it, which is what I would love to do.
And I am there. I submit my paperwork. I get a lot of money, and then I'm unemployed until the next job, but I have nothing that I have to do. I have nobody. I could just literally not answer my phone or emails for 6 months, and that's fine, and I can pick right back up.
Right, and that's something you've earned.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Did you see it? Like, that is something you have absolutely earned.
But I found, because I did this, and then I did a at-home job that I was working 8 to 5 every day from my shop, doing help desk stuff.
Yeah.
It was pure hell. And I had people that were like, oh, you took a 16-minute break instead of a 15-minute break.
Oh, give
all
me
this stuff.
Seriously?
And they're like,
Wait, seriously?
Did you, does your report show how many breaks I didn't take? Just, oh yeah, it was.
That's unbelievable. I didn't know they were like that. So, Mark and I do this frequently. We hang out. It's fun. It's a great time. However, I always ask y'all what you are most proud of at the end of every single Friday when we get together and all that kind of stuff. Which, by the way, if you want to hop on a Zoom call at Fridays out at 5:30, you will meet people from all over the fucking world. We get together every Friday, non-recorded, no episode, at 5:30 p.m. and we just shoot the shit. I ask how your week has been, etc. Like so that people are free to be themselves without any fucking judgment. You can show up drunk. You can.
Clothing optional.
Clothing optional. Only you, Mark. I always ask everybody what they're most proud of, and since you are technically you know what? No, you're not a fucking guest. You're one of my closest friends. This is not going to be any different than what we would normally do. But what are you most proud of? And it has to be a characteristic unique to you. I know you're proud of your kids. I know you're proud of your wife. What are you most proud of within you?
I am proud of myself realizing and not chasing the money, and doing something that I love, and turning that into a career. Like I had a 6-figure job literally lined up for me. All I had to do is give them my degree and say, look, here's my degree. But I didn't want to do that, and sure, I probably would have been good at it, but I wouldn't have been me. And after I got properly medicated, some people say, oh, you got medicated, you probably could have done great at that. Like, no, I realized that I was just good at that, but I didn't like that. And I could actually focus on things that I really enjoyed, that maybe I wasn't good at, maybe I wasn't awesome at. But I really enjoyed making a leap and saying, fuck this.
That's a tough leap.
So I worked, 2 to 5 days at a time, and I'm unemployed until the next job.
But that triggers the ADHD brain too. You're smart in that, because what it is you're under pressure to find the next. We're under pressure with brain.
Well, yeah, because I only have 2 to 5 days to do my job. I don't have a whole year to do my job.
Right, exactly.
I get
deadline.
so much more done on.
100%.
I'm most proud of changing my career for what was comfortable to what I enjoyed.
I could learn from that, actually. The problem is I love both.
Well, and no, you don't need to change what you love.
I know.
And if you love, because yes, I was good at what I was planning on being, and I had a great job lined up. Like, I'm probably a dumbass.
No.
We
don't do that here.
Looking back, looking at, like, from outside, I understand what people say, why would you give that up?
Yeah.
But it is because, right now, I am happy what I'm doing. I really enjoy what I'm doing. I could give 120% on what I'm doing, and there's the difference between being good at something and being passionate about something. And until I was really medicated, I really didn't feel like I knew the difference.
Yeah, that's a great point. That is a really good point, actually, for ADHD people.
Because when I was unmedicated, it was
logic.
just do what you're good at, what you can do. Just, being able to break away from that kind of setup, but I just wouldn't have been myself.
But you recognized it. You recognize that it wasn't you to do certain things, and it was you to do other things.
Yeah.
To me, it's the recognition in yourself to know, like, fuck this, I'm doing this. That ADHD people naturally have, but they have to have the confidence to say it. And they have to have the confidence to say, like you just did, I wasn't myself, but now I am. That is what we are desperately lacking overall as ADHD people, is we're scared to say it.
And which I think sucks. I mean,
it does suck, and that's because we shouldn't.
And the fact, because it's even
everyone else
every
gets
now
to say
and then,
shit.
Yeah.
Why can't we? Why can't we be comfortable in ourselves?
Yeah, and being ADHD is not something that, like, I don't want to talk to the doctor about it.
Right.
I don't want to talk to my family about it. I don't want to talk to my loved ones about it.
Right.
But you should. I mean,
absolutely. I mean, I throw it in people's faces. I'm like, I am the most ADHD motherfucker you will ever meet, and I'm proud of it.
And I didn't really acknowledge ADHD as being a condition that people are okay with until I had met Lobau. Because it was just everybody saying, "Oh, you're ADHD, you're ADD." I like just laugh it off, like almost like there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And then when I met Lobau, he's like, there's something right with me. It's just
why do you think I hired you?
I thought it was because the dog kept running. You just wanted to shut the dog
okay.
up.
So what happened was he lived above me. The dog kept running back and forth. So I took him a handle, a crown, and said, "Please shut the dog up because I'm sleeping and whatnot." And honestly, the next day, I walked outside and he was working on his Jeep. I'm like, okay, so here's a kid that works. Then we start talking, and he's had all these jobs. He's working a job, putting himself through school. And to me, that's impressive. I trust the ADHD person more.
Yeah, fuck those guys.
Yeah, they suck. They absolutely suck.
Oh, you don't have ADHD? Fucking
Yeah.
loser.
That is this podcast. That is this podcast. It's literally like I'm flipping the roles. Like, oh, you don't have ADHD?
Oh,
Fuck
you don't have ADHD?
suck.
We're better than you.
Yeah, we are better than you. I do want to say one thing before we close this out. This has been amazing, by the way. But no, one thing I have to say, because I have to do this, because I have waited so long to have a public avenue like this to say, like, what I'm most proud of right now is you.
You really have shaped my life. And I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for you.
Thanks, man.
If it wasn't for my cousin's dog and the shit out of you.
Fucking shitty dog.
How I was saying is how I changed my career, all that.
Yeah.
You were a big part of that. It really was. If you haven't introduced me to the condition of ADHD, ADD, all of that, and saying how it's fine, it's not, it is how we are.
Yeah.
And also hire me to get into something that I really just am passionate about.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for you, God knows where I'd be. I wouldn't be here with my video board, my lake, my kids, my bombshell of a wife, and I wouldn't be where I'm at right now if it wasn't for you.
But it works both ways, and that's where ADHD people thrive. They have hearts that are so much bigger. I've noticed this with every person with it, is they are empathetic naturally because they're trying to overcompensate at first. But if they're not trying to overcompensate, that energy, that heart, and that care has to go somewhere. Why can't helping someone else help you at the same time?
Well,
that's what ADHD people naturally
I don't know,
do.
because I can't. I would rather help somebody else help myself.
But see, what you're not understanding is that when you help someone else, that helps you at the same time.
It does.
And so what happens is we do this, and then the people are saying, you got to take time for yourself. You got to take time for yourself. Okay?
Like
then,
that was time for myself.
Right. That's our power. Welcome back to Lobau Spark Podcast. I am sitting here with
a lot of familiar faces. Leo Guinan, RJ Zimmerman, and Up for the Challenge. My basic point on all of this is that friendship matters. With every kind of mental health you have, friendship actually can get you through a lot of life's ultimate challenges. So, I'm going to ask Leo first. What does friendship mean to you?
Friendship to me means deciding at the last moment that you might as well just fly across the fucking country and end up down visiting a friend. And that being one thing, and most people just leave it there and be appreciative of having one friend come into town. But true friendship is actually saying, you know, fuck it. Other people probably want to be here too. And then just 100%. Putting it into the motion of getting people here, anybody you can, and seeing who is available and just willing to come out and hang out and have a good fucking time. And you know what? That's so vital to mental health. Like, I didn't even have to ask for that. Look at that. That's fucking power right there, man. Like, that's what friendship does. And seriously, though, like, it's amazing how valuable this is to mental health and being able to be around people who support you no matter what. And you get to just be yourself, let it all hang out without worrying about who's going to judge you for what, or, you know, you say shit and you're just joking around and having a good time. And man, that fucking matters way more than anybody realizes. It's so valuable to just have people to talk to and who believe in you and, you know, love you and care about you, and just you can have a great fucking time with, because
perfect.
Ultimately, that's what that's what it's all about.
That's what matters. I'm gonna shift this and go with Up for the Challenge next. What does friendship mean to you, buddy? I know, it's hard.
If anyone's watched any of my podcasts and me on here with it, I fucking hate this shit.
I know, and that's why we're doing it.
Well, I wouldn't even, there's just something by the way, just sort of, yeah, it's just to piss me off, guys, if you're wondering.
And that's what friends do. That is what this is.
I mean, I mean, you go off of what Leo said, the whole idea of just being yourself, because most of the time, if anyone's ever watched me on anything else or you've come across it, I am on tenterhooks a lot of the time because of how I am perceived by others. So, especially because of, you know, just the way I am in general, the way I've had to be because of masking and everything else. So when other people have also been masking for 30 years, kind of helps. It's like, oh, I get why you're doing that. Like, it's, you know, there's braggadociousness and things like that will come out for a lot of people. But if you've been masking for a long time and you understand insecurities, you get that as well. So, yeah, it's I'd go with that.
Is it helpful to have people around you that understand you and how your brain
well,
works?
that's the important thing. It's right. Get it, because it's you know, you can have 20, 30, 40 people around you. If all they think is, oh, this guy is this, because they don't understand why you're saying stuff. So anecdotal communication, which is the way that all four of us communicate, which is basically where we try and show that we really understand by saying basically something that's happened really similar to ourselves, to show that to a lot of people that are neurotypical, they see that as you trying to control the conversation or you showing off about something. It's like, no, that's us trying to show that we really get it. So that's the problem. You can have one person that understands is better than 50 that don't half the time.
Okay. More than half. I mean, we can use all the maths and figure out that that's actually better all the time.
We've had this discussion all weekend because, again, we're here in real life, maths versus math.
Wrong way around, but he's just admitted that I'm right with that, so...
No, all I said was that it was a competition. I didn't say who won.
Hey, you pointed to the wrong people. That's fine. You carry on.
It doesn't matter who's wrong.
Again, right, people facts don't matter. You're an American now.
There is no right. There is no wrong. Remember, we discussed this. You just said it. RJ, what does friendship mean to you?
I am so glad that you asked me, because friendship means...
I swear to God, get that shit out of here.
For those at home, friendship really does mean unicorn cakes.
Yeah. For those at home, this is Low Mouth Spark. It fucking doesn't. Okay, what it means is, what is your opinion of it?
Editing software means there's now a box floating above.
Y'all are gonna fucking kill me on this. I know it. But RJ, seriously, what has this meant to you? Like, what is friendship to you?
It is.
It's a text message.
Realizing, right? And that is one of them, right?
Yeah.
But it's realizing how much of your life you spent trying to fit in, and understanding that you can just belong, which is what we've been talking about, right?
Right.
And you just get to be yourself. And when you're yourself, people appreciate that. But when you go through life masking and pretending to be somebody different at work, at home, as a parent, with your family, with, the softball team, when you're out with the guys, when you're out with, mixed, different couples, right? And you're like hanging out with them, you always show up as a different person. You don't even know who you are because you're trying to fit in that entire time. But the true friendship that comes from being understood, that's where you get to figure out who the fuck you are. And then you just get to be that, and that freedom that comes from that. That's where that real friendship comes in.
Wow.
Fucking magically said.
Yeah, that was...
I do want to add on to that real quick, just because It made me think of something. That's actually one of the magical things about the internet is, wherever you are in the world, there may not be people who understand you. Maybe, you're different and you view the world in a different way than the people around you. But the internet gives you a place where you can actually find people who really understand, the true you. And that's the kind of magic of the world we live in. And so, we're scattered geographically, but we were able to find each other through the, power of the internet. And then, we turn that into real friendship by putting in the work and putting in the effort to get to know each other, and finding people that you just resonate with where you don't have to mask. And that's the thing. Like, for me so long, it was all about, like, I masked because I didn't have anyone I could find to, like, fit in with. So I just tried to find somebody. But with the internet, like, it's a big fucking world out there. You can find anybody who can, like, really align with who you are and let you be yourself. And that is just a magical fucking thing.
It gets more that as well, because the biggest thing, going from what I said before and what you were saying there, is people that say they get it and are shut the fuck up. You don't.
I love you.
You really don't, and it pisses me off so much. Especially pisses me off because this is where I go into my high horse, because it's something the rest of you don't have. Things like,
do you mean your high unicorn?
I do.
Yes.
These lovely unicorns. But
I swear to God.
bitch, I'm editing it. So
it's the national animal Scotland, right? That's a
exactly
thing.
Unicorn Scotland. So the Brit held them up. It makes sense,
right?
But, so like when you have people, especially like OCD, when people go, "Oh, I get it. I'm clean and tidy too." That's not what OCD is.
Oh.
If somebody's like says to you, if you've got autism, and goes, "Oh yeah, no, I get it. I like to make tables and lists too." Shut the fuck up. It's okay not to understand what we're going through. Just listen to us and talk through. You can be a friend. You can be helpful. You can be everything. The second you pretend you understand what we're going through, we are going to close off to you in some way. And that's not even necessarily intentional. We just know that you're not worth talking to anymore because you've made it very clear.
We've had that conversation before.
Doing that. Yeah. And it's just irritating as hell because people try to... The OCD gets me the most because it's so misrepresented. But when people are just going to go, "Oh yeah, well, I've got a bit of OCD, or I've got a bit of ADHD, I've got a bit of autism." No, you don't. You've either got it or you don't have it. And that's not to say that if that's diagnosed or undiagnosed, if it's present and seen as what it is, that's the thing. But you don't have a bit of it. You don't dye your hair. It's not like dyeing your hair one bit and going, "Oh, look, I've got a bit of pink hair." No, motherfucker, it's different than that. And that's something people really need to understand, because all you're doing is pushing the rest of us down. And then you wonder why we get pissed off and push back. That's why.
Yeah. 100%.
It's all about, what does friendship mean to you?
Shit, we're meant to let him talk.
What all y'all said, this is what I do. I have the love in my heart, and then I pass the buck to y'all to discuss it. Because I'm not great at discussing these things. I don't have this knowledge you do. All I know is that I was ridiculed and told I was stupid all throughout high school, and our fan over here can attest to that. But I'm not. I'm fucking brilliant. And I want other people to recognize that too, because all of a sudden I decided to start talking, and now we've got a person from England, from Virginia, from Ohio here. That's the whole point. Thank you. That was awesome. I love that. Hunter's hired forever.
Everything now has to be filmed in front of a live studio.
Create a monster.
Right. But the thing is, I don't care about followers. I don't care about the numbers. All I care about is getting through to someone that doesn't have friends, that thinks that they can't make friends or whatever, and then all of a sudden they show up authentically themselves and they're amazing. That's it. You want to talk about the closest thing we have for a cure to mental health? It's fucking this. That's what it is. It's not those, by the way.
Those really fucking help.
Nothing to do with the Little Debbie's.
Unicorn cakes.
See, Scotland made the unicorn the national animal.
The national animal. So
but fucking America turned them into cake.
Filled with unicorn jizz.
That is a perfect representation.
With unicorn jizz. Really, RJ? Really? But that's what we do.
It's sparkling strawberry, okay?
That's what we do here is we can
But
joke.
this is the point as well, take a piss out of each other.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is glitteringly
That's what
delicious.
friends do. They yell at each other.
Well done.
They
RJ.
tell each
Thank
other
you
to
for that.
fuck off.
That was beautiful on a number of levels there. I don't know if you caught that.
Wait, are we talking about the unicorn jizz?
Well, yes. RJ referred to it as literally delicious.
Great. Literally delicious.
Which I needed to say that again because actually that's really fun to say. Literally delicious.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stop the podcast after this episode. However,
because he wants a unicorn cake.
Fucking A. But no, honestly, if you're struggling in your life, reach out to us. We will talk to you. That's it. Won't we?
Yes,
Yeah.
and then you're probably going to want us to shut up at some point. So, at least doing it here, you have the option of turning us off.
Exactly.
If you actually talk to us,
we will
that's
even
harder.
listen.
We will come to you and show up in person.
RJ just said, we will listen. And you were so.
Yeah.
what
No,
happens.
I'll interrupt and fucking show up. Probably on the wrong day, but because I wasn't listening.
I met Leo 3 years ago, RJ 2 years ago, and Up a year and a half ago. And now we're all sitting here together as friends. That's it. That's it. It's really not difficult to love people.
We met back when it was called Twitter.
It's still called Twitter. Just for the record.
Twitter.
Just for the record. It's still
I
called
can't
Twitter.
believe I'm on social media. Jesus Christ, what the hell?
Back in my day.
Sometimes you'll talk to people that end up being me, and that's just weird.
Yeah, well, when you basically when you care about something so much, you just do it. And that's what a lot of people do is when they care, they just do it. They're not worried about the outcome. And that ultimately leads to a better life. I cared about one team. I still work there. I care about this podcast. I still do it. This isn't the death sentence you think it is. I promise you. Last thing I have to, by the way, we have a lot of rednecks in the background singing, which is awesome. But
we call that ambiance.
Last question for my friends now, so some of my best friends. I'm going to start with RJ. What are you most proud of me for?
Okay.
Damn it! I was going to fucking answer that question. And you put it over me. Shit.
I knew it. I could tell in your eyes. I knew it.
I am most proud of you for your ability to bring the best out of everybody and how that looks in just you caring about what they bring to the table. Like the way that you show up and the way that you make other people feel cared for. And, I always have that picture of Peyton Manning and the butcher yelling, cut that meat. Like that's you, except it's not a comedy, like it's real life. And you really feel that energy. Even when we're talking on the phone, when we're on a Zoom call, when we're in person, it doesn't matter.
No,
you always get that feeling.
So you're saying that I care. Perfect.
And
that's
you
the
make it
nice
obvious.
compliment that I get.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't hide it.
So we're going to shift this a little bit. Leo, what are you most proud of Up for?
Oh, that's a good one. Threw me a curveball. I like that. Didn't see that one coming. But it's baseball, so that's the American thing.
Oh,
I can hit that out of the park. It's just a kid's game.
No,
so
baseball's so slow.
Life's going to throw you curveballs, so you might as well learn how to hit the curve, right?
That's right.
Or just not watch that damn game.
No. Honestly, I'm really proud of Up for everything he's done in terms of showcasing how it's possible to kind of like run all sorts of multiple things and help like, you know, various set of skills, and all of a sudden like, you know, not taken wise, more like YouTube, but really helping and just get all of that stuff organized and helpful, and, you know, bringing in just an immense amount of knowledge into anything, always willing to show up for a conversation, fucking record it, not whatever, always willing to talk about anything. And, you know, it's honestly, it's a fucking breath of fresh air, because a lot of people just won't be interested in talking about, you know, all sorts of the oddities of life and just the random shit that occurs. And it's just awesome to have like someone else who does that, because that's very much a thing that I do. And so I certainly appreciate someone else bringing in all sorts of random facts, because unfortunately I know the ones that I know, and it's not nearly as amusing to me as other people bringing in all of the obscure facts from all walks of life. And awesome. Yeah, just you know, also like really just setting an example for you know, for me in terms of like travel and like the freedom of just like fucking going out and exploring and shit, and you know, seeing like the autistic person do the thing that, like, if you follow the textbook definition of what everybody tries to tell you about like being autistic, and, you know, scared of change and things that aren't like set in stone, like you fucking travel all over the world, nothing's set in stone. Like it's amazing how different cultures are, but you showcase that like, oh no, you can do it. Like you get used to it, and that, if that's what you care about, that's what you do, and it doesn't matter what the fucking label is you put on yourself. Like, you determine what that means to you. And I think you've been a perfect example of doing exactly that, and just building a life around the shit that you fucking know and care about, and putting that out into the world and setting a good example for the rest of us. So like, I'm able to fucking just travel all over, like where I feel like, and I'm kind of using that as inspiration of like, no, I can do this. And it turns out, you know, I guess I fucking can. I might be on there on the wrong day.
There it is.
Or
yeah,
shit,
yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, there it is. 100%. Up. You can phrase this however you want, but what are you most proud of Leo for?
Firstly, I fucking hated all of that. I hate that phrase. Anyway, you can all fuck off.
This is where you kill this guy. Okay, so, right now you love him. That's what happens.
That's the thing.
Yeah. So much love. So much love. Oh, I know.
That's a different level.
So there's a lake back there. He may not do another episode. So you fuck off. So for Leo, I think that, I mean, the one of the biggest things is putting yourself out there for certain things. I mean, you've just said it of me, but I think like you've just come for a conference to get here first, and you're putting out a brand new kind of idea. You're writing about it, as well as then developing it and talking to different people, talking to people in different countries. You're actually doing it. And yes, you've said it about me with going out there and with countries, but you are being multifaceted in a specific thing that you've identified, want to attack it, use the connections that you have, that you've then created more. I mean, you even at the conference bumped into someone who is a user of something you're doing already, which kind of shows that it's working or that it's getting out there. So the fact that you're making those connections, you're getting out and doing it for things that we don't even know at this point how far and wide they could potentially go. Being able to actually have confidence in yourself, because that's a big thing. That because I think, and this is hard for a lot of people to understand. So I can only bring it back on myself in terms of this. My insecurity is high as fuck. Like, I don't have that same amount of confidence most of the time to do that for me. So in my mind, that's a big thing, because I'm confident enough in the things that I can do, but that's not me that I have the confidence in. And I think that's a really big thing if you suffer from mental health, to have not just the confidence in something you're doing, but the confidence in yourself to be able to do it. So I'm definitely proud of you to be able to latch hold of your own confidence in yourself with your skill to then push it forward.
So I want to bring this back for 1 second to this guy right here, because he actually met me when I was not able to do that very well at all. And actually being on his podcast was one of the first things that unlocked that for me, because he just reached out and was like, hey, come talk to me on this podcast about ADHD, because it was something that I was learning about myself. And he was willing to make that first step. And one of the things I've taken from that is I really try to be the first step for others that I would have liked to have. And that all comes again back to the friendship that gets formed, and people have confidence in you, and you're able to take that confidence and, you know, put that out into the world, and people see it as like, oh wow, that's really impressive. But it all starts with friendship. Everything stems from friendship.
It does. It's a domino effect. You care about one person, they care about someone else, then they care about 2 other people, 3, 4, 6, 10, 100, 90,000. Who, I mean, the sky's the limit if you give a fuck about the person. Like, that's it. Honestly, thank you. That was the best compliment I ever received in my whole life. But I appreciate that. Anything else anyone would like to say about each other before we close this off?
I mean, I think you need to chime in with what you're proud of the 3 of us. I mean, you gotta put it back out. That's,
you can leave me out.
No, actually, go ahead and start with up.
I think I'll start with up.
Yeah.
I am most proud of you for. Oh God, I know it hurts, but this will be good. I'm most proud of you for reaching out and at least giving me a chance to talk to you every day. Just giving me a chance, just one chance to be like, you know what? I like the guy. I'd like to talk to him every day while he's going through a downtime. You gave me a chance. That not a lot of people do that. And I am most proud of you for giving this stupid Southerner a chance. It's been a lot, but also in terms of your characteristics, I'm also proud of you for proving me the fuck wrong with every goddamn conversation we have. But I'm also the most proud of you because I think you have a heart beyond anyone's conscionable thought. I know you hate it. I know you do, but you do. You do.
That's your interpretation of reality.
Hey, we're in America. We know an enlarged heart when we see one.
Good. That was good. That was good. Little Debbie. All thanks to Little Debbie's
Oh my God.
lubricate.
Little Debbie, if you want to sponsor, Little Debbie sponsor the podcast.
Fuck yes.
I'll
Yes.
They are glitteringly delicious.
I'm not finished on the proud of thing here, though, with up. After Little Debbie's. No, I mean, you've shown me a world that I never knew existed, which was like somewhere outside of where I live, the country outside of where I live. You gave me an education and actually taught me things about mindfulness that I would never, ever, I hate classrooms. I hate them.
Okay, I want to get something on the record here.
Sorry, I love you.
No, you're good.
But I've never had a teacher that actually listened when I said, by the way, I can't be in a classroom. Fuck you for this. I'm not doing this. And then you're like, okay, well, how about this? And shifted roles to make me, the student, understand something that I never would have without you. It's impossible to teach me. Impossible.
And so that's why I want to get this on the record for just a second. I heard a rumor that he actually got you to open up a book willingly. Did that happen? I was a bit skeptical.
I opened it.
That's an achievement that nobody else on earth has. So well done. However,
I opened it.
What I'm going to say back immediately is, for anyone that's ever got a teacher that's any good, teachers don't teach you anything. You're teaching yourself. In the same way that I've always said to people, if you're going into a gym to work out and to improve on a better you, you don't thank the person that just shows you where the weights are. And that's all I did, and that's all I would do for anybody, is show them where the weights are. It's up to you to pick them up, to use them, to develop yourself in that way. So just because you've had bad teachers doesn't make me a great one. You can learn from anybody. It's just if they're willing to allow you to learn from yourself, which is the main point. That's not down to the teacher.
But that's
down
a
to you.
characteristic, man. Like,
It all goes back to inspiring confidence in people.
Yeah,
to be able
it does.
to do that.
It does. But I love you.
Thank you for showing me where the weights are up.
I love you. You're a great guy.
I'm still looking for the weights, but I'll figure out one of these days.
So RJ, what I'm most proud of RJ for is so I drink a lot. Okay, not that I'm most proud of you for for that, but RJ has shown me a way to kind of curtail. Is it curtail?
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect use of the word.
Holy shit! I
Yep.
got something in.
Look,
you.
That's
Open book. Uses words like curtail.
He took the first page of that book as well.
I highlighted curtail. That was it. I just remember that. And you also helped me like understand that it doesn't have to be 1,000% balls to the wall every single day. You can still be balls to the wall with limits that can make you feel the same as if you are going balls to the wall. I desperately need that in my life. And no one's ever been able to show me that but you. So I'm extremely proud of you for catering your teachings and what you're doing with the alcohol-free program and all of that. But more so, I'm going to be conceited here. Like, the fucker helped me. Like, that's it. And not a lot of people can, and that's why we're friends. That's literally what it is. And now I know I don't have to go all out every single time. I need to find something that makes me feel like I'm going all out every single time without the disastrous side effects.
Yeah.
That's a massive quality to have. So, love you, RJ. Leo. What I'm most proud of you for is showing the fuck. I tell you this every time. Showing the fuck up. It was, hey, Leo, you want to come down to Florida? Yeah, I'll do it. You're the one that created all this.
Again, I mean,
you didn't think for a second that you had this ability to like make all these connections and do all these things, but you are now.
You showed me it was possible, and that's the thing. Like, so
I didn't do shit. Okay, you were like, hey, by the way, I'm a fucking awesome person. I'm proud of you for saying that to yourself. God damn it.
I'm around you, and you actually hear it all the time, which is a big difference for a lot of people with like mental health struggles and things that people don't understand. I want to point that out because one of the things that we hear over and over again is our deficiencies. And so being in a room with someone who is like, oh, actually, no, you're fucking awesome. And, you know, the world doesn't appreciate you. You start to understand what your good qualities are, as opposed to discounting those in favor of the stuff that you don't do well. And his whole, you know, your whole thing, you're talking about like what fucking matters. Like the stuff that you're good at actually matters. The stuff that you're bad at, like you can overcome that actually pretty fucking easy. When you actually believe in yourself and go out and do what you can in the world. And so anything I do, like I've done because you've set that example, and I appreciate that.
Well, that's great, but this is about you again.
No, it's not.
But, so what I'm most
proud of mirror and your glue.
Captain America shield up, like
what I'm most proud of you for is accepting that.
Yeah, I do accept it and I appreciate it.
I love you, buddy.
Love you, man.
All right, anybody else before we close this out? By the way, friendships matter, and fuck you if you think they don't. Sorry, so was that too forward?
So I do want to say too. I want to put this out for RJ because I think one of the things that like you've shown here too is that you can be friends in areas where like it's like there's an understanding, and so you know, as someone who you have an alcohol-free coaching program, and it's something that you've opened up about, to be able to come hang out with friends who we do drink, and that's something that it happens, and being willing to like put yourself in that situation, it's very powerful to have that full sense of self to where like, and honestly, like RJ, from what I've seen, like you have no like peer pressure or whatever. Like it's still, we make this a very inclusive thing, but it could very much be like a challenging thing, but you're so solid in who you are and what you want out of life that you can put yourself in any situation. It doesn't fucking matter, because that's not going to change who you are and who you are now. And that solid sense of self is fucking amazing, because so many people don't have that, which is why they like try to avoid anything that might put them in a soft spot that they might make a bad decision. When you actually know who the fuck you are and what you want out of life, it's not a decision. It's easy. And when you have friends who care about you and like, accept you for, whoever you are and whatever you're doing, and it's just a thing that you're welcome, like that's the part of friendship that makes everything easier, because you don't have to question who you are
100%.
in order to make the decisions you need to make.
Yeah, it's basically if you have support from people that truly love you, not ones that say they love you because you'll get followers or whatever, but if you have people that truly love you, you can't fail.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's it. So
love is a success.
Anyways, see you next week.